welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, trade schools, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. I'm Jason Roskin. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I'm fucking exhausted.
Is there ever a time when you're not exhausted?
I think the last time that I haven't felt some level of fatigue was 2013.
That was the last time.
I literally had this conversation with a doctor today. And there was a point when I was going through my thyroid stuff where I remember having like a normal day. Like I actually felt good.
Yeah.
And that's the last time I felt good.
Jesus.
And then every day since then has
for the next 11 years.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh. Anyway, so we were supposed to have a guest this week, but our good friend Bob, his wife decided to go into labor a week early. So, yeah, when I talked to him at about noon today, they were at the hospital. They had just gotten there, so...
And what was supposed to happen was he was supposed to be here, and then she was supposed to go into labor while he was here, and they would have this dramatic exit.
Right. Would have
which we were going to stage anyway, the dramatic exit.
Yeah.
But
would have been great for views.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
yeah,
it didn't work out. So we will stage it later.
Sure.
Maybe
we'll just get a random text. Oh, she gave birth.
Maybe
Yeah.
we could. We can do the congratulatory thing. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's hoping.
All right.
We don't need long hours of labor. Don't need that.
No, nobody wants that.
The women hold that against us for some reason.
Like we had anything to do with it.
Not. Well, I mean, we had something to do with it, but
right.
Not that part of it.
Right.
Anyway.
That's a discussion for another day. What are we talking about this week, though?
Oh, fuck if I know. We saw a movie on last Wednesday.
That's right.
Because it's the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace.
Correct.
So, even though we have talked about the Phantom Menace fairly recently, we couldn't figure out when it was.
I think it was sometime early last year or late the year before.
We did a prequels kind of overview.
Yeah.
But we're going to do the Phantom Menace because it is the 25th anniversary. Yeah. It is important, and we got to see it in a theater.
Yeah.
So, and personally, for me, I know that my theater experience and seeing it, I think what I have to say about the movie is going to be different even than what I had to say about it a couple of years ago.
Oh, great.
So,
okay.
So it'll be worthwhile. Stay tuned, kids.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Well, before we get into any of our serious stuff, we've got some business to take care of. So should we start with Patreon?
Yes. I swear to God, I thought Luna Girl was just typing the N-word.
What the fuck?
I'm watching the sidebar headlines change, and I saw NIG. I'm like, what are you doing? And then don't put that on the fucking teleprompter. What are you doing?
Try to see if you'd notice.
Oh my God. All right, you do the Patreon. I'm going to not say the N-word.
Yeah, please don't. I don't want that kind of backlash. Anyway, we'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons. My wonderful mother-in-law, Patricia Goodstein, Don Solsky, The Orange and Fett Show, Dragon Buddy, Sterling Azier, Helen Martin, Chantal from Pop Mike Culture, Ivo G, Scott and Kim from Used and Abused, Catherine Rennick, Tina Land, Frederick Martin, Wally Frogmore, Lord Helmet Fire, Carly Vickers, David Schmuck, Frank Kalevich, Nick from Sweet Studios, Kristen Roscom, Shotgun Mark, and Brady Big Lovin'. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/the Cantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
And, don't forget, we have good giveaways. I think our May giveaway was one of our best yet.
Yeah. I don't know how we're going to top that, honestly.
True, but yeah.
That's going to be a tough one.
But yeah, so that's that. We got any sidebar headlines?
Now we do, apparently, that
right.
don't include the N-word.
That's good.
This just in. Happy birthday to our Canadian friend, Smirking Bear. So it is Smirking Bear's birthday.
Today? And he's in the chat, too.
Yes.
So happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And maybe if I get reminded, they'll be singing later. However, I'm telling you right now, and I'll explain why in my week, there's most likely not going to be a Hennifer appearance because pain. And I'll get into it. I'll get into it in my week.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So
Wally Frogmore is in the chat.
Oh shit.
Hells yeah.
Surprise appearance.
Now it's a fucking party.
I know. So was that it for sidebar headlines?
That's it.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Smirking Bear.
All right. And speaking of birthdays, we've got a day in Star Wars.
Do we?
Yes, and it's not for
now I see. Okay.
It's not for today though, it's for tomorrow. Today, I'm not even going to go into that. That was stupid. But tomorrow is a pretty big day. What do you think happened on this day in 1944?
On this day in 1944.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow, May 14th.
I should know this.
This is a big one.
I really should know this.
Yeah. All right, well, don't hurt yourself. The man named George Lucas was born in Modesto, California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he turns 80 tomorrow. Because he was born in 44 and 24. It's 80.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, it's going to be sad when he goes, you know, and we're going to kind of get into some of, you know, his legacy when we talk about the prequels. But,
yeah,
you know, much like John Williams, it's going to be a sad day whenever that ever gets here.
Yeah, because the reality of his impact in movies in general, I think can't be understated. And I don't think people appreciate. Generally, people don't appreciate. Our audience does, I think.
Yeah.
But I think generally people don't understand like what his impact was in movies.
Yeah. Because if he hadn't done what he had done, all your Marvel movies, everything, it would be a whole different landscape right now.
Just for producers and editors and everything else, like the things that he created. Well, the stuff we're talking about with ILM.
Yeah, the technology that they just built from scratch because they needed to get this specific shot, you know?
You needed somebody to say, hey, let's do this, and I'm going to put money into it, even if it costs me. Like, even if it's going to break us, I want to see this done, and I'm going to see it through.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all it takes. Like, you don't have to be the engineer that comes up with it. You have to be the guy that says, I'm willing to put my ass behind this and see it through.
Yep.
And that's what you need.
Yep. That was George.
Well, it still is George. It still is George. He's not dead. His birthday's tomorrow.
Right. He's just not associated
He'll be 80.
with.
He'll be in that old man demographic.
Yeah. Which, it's a shame, but, I mean, yeah.
Beats the alternative.
Yeah, sands of time keep on falling? What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we ready to get into our weeks?
Yes.
Okay, so this first thing actually isn't anything I did this week, but it's something that Kristen has been doing over the last several months. So, do you remember when we used to fly together? That whenever we would go to another country, I would always try to find her a Starbucks mug.
Yes.
Because she always loved those Starbucks location mugs.
Yes.
So they did a series of those Starbucks location mugs that take place in the Star Wars universe.
Really?
For example, the one that doesn't have a case, Naboo. Oh, look at that. That's the one we're talking about today.
Oh.
Check that shit out.
Ah, it's got the fucking Duel of the Fates, and it's got a little Padme. It's got some Jar Jar.
Yep.
Got Anakin in the fucking cockpit. Roger.
So,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and now I've got 11 more over here, and we'll look at a couple of them because she got the complete set. She just finished the set.
Wow.
Because there were 12 total, and it's called the Been There series.
Okay.
Star Wars. And they only sold these at the parks, like the Disney parks, at the Starbucks that were in there. So this one, it's Jakku. Roses are red, violets are blue. Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
I like it because it has ties on it.
Yeah. And then we'll do one more random sampling. I mean, we could look at all 12 of these, but that would take a bit of time. We'll pick this one. But yeah, she's been collecting these for months. Oh, this is a good one. Mustafa.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you're showing the people, right?
No, I'm not. I'm just looking at it myself. So
see, that's kind of part of the point of me handing these to you, so you show them to the YouTube audience.
And usually I do with like the other things, but I just chose not to with this.
Yeah, and these are official Starbucks mugs. They sell them at Starbucks, or they did. I don't think they sell any of these anymore.
That's pretty awesome. Look at Palpatine's. They got Palpatine's fucking
his shuttle. Yeah, that's good shit, man. So, but yeah, if you're ever looking for a Star Wars themed mug for a location, the Been There series Starbucks coffee mugs.
That is very cool. Yeah, I do recall like we'd be somewhere random, and it's like, oh, I wonder if they have a Starbucks.
Yeah. No, I got a ton of those mugs from some overseas locations, and she still got them. We still to this day haven't figured out how to display them, but we've got them, or she's got them.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So, after a few weeks off, I finally have some additions to
the Sacred Jedi.
First of all, this is one that I pre-ordered a while back, and they finally came in. This is a 2-pack clone, Phase 2 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid, and it's in this tiny condensed box. But when you open it, they're in here. They're full Black Series figures.
Huh.
Yeah, that's the
When
inside.
did they make that box?
Just for this, as far as I know. And these are brand new. These just came out. They just shipped them last week.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you want to hold that. And because I am who I am, I got a couple extras to open. So yeah, I got a few more to open. Well, Dave's got one of the ones that are open. Do you need help with something?
No, I thought it was a desiccant package for
And
a
I'm
second.
pretty sure the Clone Trooper, his helmet comes off too, to reveal one.
Well, I'm not going to unwrap them because that's your thing, but this is them.
Yeah, let me see.
There. I'll let you do the unwrapping. It's your toy.
Yeah, what's his name's name again? Boba Fett and the clones.
Boba Fett? Where?
You know his name, Tamora Morrison. Yep, and there he is.
Aha!
Aha! Yep, and there he is with the helmet on. Phase 2 Clone Trooper and a Battle Droid. So,
Sweet.
speaking of Clone Troopers, so quite a while ago, hold on, Kristen's texting me. You want to show my Mother's Day presents? What? Whatever. Fuck, I lost what I was. Oh yeah. So a while back, like 6 months ago, this new Black Series set came out, and it went for pre-order up on Hasbro Pulse, and that was the only place you can get it. And as soon as I learned that this thing existed, I went straight to Hasbro Pulse, and it was already sold out. And I'm like, motherfuckers. And then over the May 4th weekend, when all those new Black Series figures came out, one place said, yeah, this is going to be for sale on Hasbro Pulse or the Disney Store. And I'm like, the DisneyStore.com. And I'm like, I've never checked there for Black Series figures. And sure as shit, I found the Black Series figure that I tried to pre-order 6 months ago.
No shit.
Just in the store. Apparently they sell them in the parks. And that's why it was on the Disney Store website.
Okay.
I don't know. But this is a pretty good one.
Ooh, I'm excited. Was he aroused?
This is Mace Windu and a fucking purple clone trooper. Show the people.
I want to look at it first.
Yeah, I think it's a Phase 2 fucking purple clone trooper.
And
because, of course,
this is like the Samuel L. Jackson fucking special.
Yeah.
And if you look, Mace is wearing, he's got like armor on.
Yeah.
See, he's got like.
Yeah, you can see the gloves.
Yeah, you can see clone armor on him. Like he's General Windu in this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 187th Legion clone trooper.
Yeah. Which they're purple, of course, because it's
end
Mace
is
Windu.
purple.
Which, by the way, well, we'll get into that in a minute. And because I am who I am, I got a second one to open.
Yes, you did. Of course you did.
So that's my addition to the Sacred Black series today.
Sacred Jedi. Black Series!
And this clone's helmet also comes off to once again reveal Tamora Morrison underneath.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I wonder if he makes a lot of money for his likeness rights.
I mean, he's got to make something.
Yeah.
As excited as he was to be part of Star Wars, I'm pretty sure he still wanted to make sure that he was going to make money off of it.
Of course, yeah. Because at the end of the day, these are jobs for these people.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them actually care about the material and all that? Who the fuck knows?
I mean, he did a movie about snakes on a plane, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Well, and like for real though, Samuel L. Jackson, he loves Star Wars. Like he like talked to George Lucas. He convinced Lucas to let him be in the movie.
Right.
Like after campaigning with him for years. And we'll get into that when we talk about Phantom Menace because there's some good stuff in there.
Yep.
But that's pretty much it for my week. Not a whole lot else going on in my world. So, what about you?
That's good. So, all right. I'm going to. I debated on whether or not I was going to say anything, but it's in my head, and I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
Just because
it's not the N word, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
The N-word, thank God. It's not. It is 100% not the N word. No. So like, just some random shit happened, last week, and it kind of. It was one of those things where like I accidentally called somebody, right?
Oh.
And when I accidentally called them and started talking to them and realized that they were having a bad time of it. And I realized in that moment that like, man, I realized a handful of things, right? We talk about, this is a mental health conversation, right? So,
right.
So
I'm still stuck on how you accidentally called somebody.
So it's really funny actually. I forget where I was coming from, but I just talked to Kathy.
Yeah.
Right. And I was putting my phone down in the charger.
Yeah.
Because I have like a charging pad in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So I was putting the phone down in the charger and I must have just pressed that person's contact.
Okay.
And it dialed.
Okay. So this was somebody this wasn't just a random stranger. Okay.
Yeah. And it like was ringing in the car all of a sudden. I'm like, oh shit. And he answered right away. So yeah, it just started talking to him, and this isn't about somebody else's business at all. This is more about just the idea of. And Dave is known for not talking with text. Yes, it is a fair point.
I'm the same way.
But yeah, it was like it was one of those things that I don't know. It felt like it was supposed to happen.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
You're saying. Yeah. Based on where this is going, yeah.
Yeah. So, and the part that like it kind of, when we were talking, and it kind of what it brought up to me was more about how good we are, like especially as veterans, right? Mental health in general is a huge thing, but as veterans in particular, I think we are really, really good at masking.
Oh yeah.
Like when we are in crisis even, right? So that when something does happen, it seems like it's completely out of the blue. Like, and that people that seem like they would like, oh my God, how did we not see it? Like, it's because we're really fucking good at not revealing that.
Yeah. We know from experience.
Yes. Us sitting here, we've done it. We've 100% done it. And when you're in the moment and, as we sit here and we talk about like, dial 988 and we have these resources for mental health and, being there for each other, it's easier. It's easier thing to say, but when you're in the moment, it's fucking hard. It's hard to when you're in the moment to fucking to get pulled out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
There's no, because honestly, when you get to that point, you're so far into it. And so I say all that to say that it's not a weakness on everyone else's part to miss something, like for the other veterans, because we're experts. We are experts at hiding what's really going on.
Yeah.
Like, we've been trained really, really well to lie to mental health professionals, to lie to doctors, to lie to superiors, when it comes to like what's going on with our mental and physical health, because our livelihood basically dependent on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because any situation where, as much as the military wants to espouse the virtues of like, oh, you can go and do whatever you want and go and talk to mental health and blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, that's not the actuality.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
at least it wasn't back in the day. I can't speak for how it is now, but
they talk a good game.
Yeah.
I just, from sitting in an office still in a squadron in an active duty unit, I can tell you they talk a really good game.
Yeah.
But the reality is that it's a culture that's really, really hard to change, and the subtleties of it are really hard. And I think honestly, the challenge of it is for the individual is to try and realize that, hey, I'm not feeling it, and I should probably talk to somebody sooner than later. And the one piece of advice that I gave to this individual, and then I'll give to everyone else, especially as a veteran, and I learned this the hard way: don't hold out for the person that you think is going to understand you, right? Because even if you get somebody who was a veteran before, right? Say you find a psychologist or a therapist that was a veteran. Great. What are the chances that they were in the Air Force? Pretty slim. What are the chances even more that if they were in the Air Force and they were aviators, or they were maintainers, or they had that specific experience that you had? The reality is that they probably didn't. So you're still going to spend a lot of time explaining things that's the worry, right? We don't want to have to fucking explain all this shit. We don't have to having to tell all that shit all the time is part of the problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we don't want to do it. And we think that if we find another somebody who else is like, oh, hey, this is this shared experience, then I won't have to do that. But the reality is you still have to do it. In fact, and I had a therapist who was in the Air Force, right? He was in the Air Force. He went through survival school.
Oh, no shit.
And he deployed and he worked with operators and everything else. I still had to explain 90% of the stuff that I went through to him. So he understood things in a very, very macro way, but that's his job. I mean, he was a therapist.
Yeah.
But the next therapist I had no affiliation. And it was actually easier for me in that transition, because in the act of explaining some things, I actually was able to
get your issues out there.
Some of it was easier to, because I was getting it out there, it was easier to talk about and kind of flush out what was really going on.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of words to say. Don't hold out for the perfect one. We've talked about this before too. It's like, yes, you're going to get a shitty fucking therapist and you're going to have to find another one.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. If it hasn't happened already, it's going to. Or the therapist that you have who is great is probably going to fucking find another job and leave, and you're going to do it again. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you don't keep doing it. And so that's what I put out there to all my friends, all my fellow veterans, is don't wait. if you're feeling it, just use the resources and go find somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
Professionals. Find professionals. Really. Like, because they have the secret sauce to fucking actually say the things to make you get to a better place. Right? I am not a therapist. As much as I fucking have to play one on TV, I am not a therapist. I've just been through a lot of therapy.
Right.
But that doesn't make me qualified to do any of that. I'm just saying from my own personal experience that it's way better to find and talk to somebody early, and don't be too picky. You know, try that person out. You never know.
Yeah.
It could be great. And that person would have no idea. They wouldn't know a fucking infantry guy from a goddamn, airplane pilot.
Yeah.
But it could be great. So anyway.
Well, yeah, I speak from experience. I've dealt with some that I was not too fond of, but
right. And so have I. I mean, I had that one therapist that was in transition and never told me. Right. It was happening right in front of my face.
Like transitioning.
Oh,
wow.
Like transitioning.
Like from male to female?
Female to male.
Oh.
It was happening like it was started in person and then like during COVID, like over the video. Never once addressed it.
Well, I mean, and that's fine, right? Like
I didn't have a problem with it happening. It's just like it's happening, and you're not even bringing it up. Like you didn't even be like, "Hey, this is going on. Is this good? Is this a problem?" Or like if you're gonna have like, it's obvious. Like okay, like things are happening.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like it was just very uncomfortable.
Oh.
It was very uncomfortable, and I hung in there, but
You tried.
I was fucking distracted. I was just like, man, I can't believe that she's really trying to pretend like there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it has to, at some point it has to feel right, and then you'll push through it. But there's always more. Yeah. There's more of them out there.
Yeah, though apparently since COVID, there's been a massive shortage of them because they're all fucking busy and booked up. Them and psychiatrists are. Yeah. It's very hard to.
Well, that's why you can't be picky.
Yeah.
Like you go find one and press the test.
Yeah.
And then at least take that shoot your shot.
Yeah, because if you find one with availability, that's the first battle.
Yeah, you got to go into it with whatever and hope, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Is that it?
That's it for that.
Okay.
On Friday, we had a thing called Pike Jam. I don't know if you're friends with my wife on social media, you have heard about Pike Jam. It was put on by the Chamber of Commerce. So it was a vendor event. They had food trucks. They had a band. They had a DJ. It was a good event. It was well planned. And I'm not just saying that because Kathy was involved in it. They put a lot of work into the planning and everything that it was to get together. And the fucking rain on Friday almost washed the whole thing out, but thankfully it slowed down enough where by the time of the event, it was just kind of spritzing, and it was a little bit of light rain in the beginning, and then it kind of went away.
Yeah.
So it was chilly though. It was like, Friday was like in the mid 50s, right? And by the time it got dark, it was chilly, but
yeah, people
had a good time. Still had a pretty good turnout. If I had to guess, I'd say there was probably 2,300 people that ended up going through there at any given point.
Yeah.
I did a drone flyover. Like my task was to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. So I was on my feet. I helped set up. So I helped with setup. So I did that, and then was on my feet with taking pictures and shit. Then the next day, after all that, we went to State College and helped Kate move into her new place.
Mm-hmm.
So Kate, look, we had it wasn't just me and Kathy. Ryan's dad and Ryan's sister were out there also helping.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to have more hands.
Oh yeah.
As much as it stressed my daughter out, because we were meeting like some of Ryan's family for the first time.
Right.
So it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So she was stressed out about it, but it was cool. They're good people. It was cool to meet them finally, but yeah, it was a non-event. But my daughter was fucking stressed out. But yeah, moving sucks no matter what you do.
Yeah, I hate moving so much.
It's many fucking times, right? I know if John's listening to this, he's probably he's probably thinking about all the times that he's moved.
Yeah.
And yes, John, I'm thinking about all the times you've moved. And I had this bag with all of these like tie down straps and moving blankets and like all this moving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter was like, "Why do you have all this? Like you guys haven't moved since we moved from base housing." Like, well, but I moved John a lot.
Yeah.
So we end up using this. So it's just one of those things that, yeah, moving sucks. And we moved Kate. Like, this is the 4th time she's moved inside State College.
Oh, geez.
Which is crazy because she's had a couple different apartments and then she moved in with Ryan and now they're moving into this place. But it's super, super nice. Nice little townhome. So it's way more adulting.
Yeah.
Than the college slum apartments.
Mm-hmm.
So it was super, super nice.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
They're taking another step into real adulthood.
Yeah. Yeah. And then whatever the next step is, it would probably involve moving again.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with that when it comes.
Mm-hmm.
So I say all that to say that I'm sore between the weekend before last when I was on my feet all weekend for fucking the Fan Expo.
Yeah.
And then this weekend with fucking Pike Jam, and then the moving, and then driving back and forth to State College. 3+ hours on Saturday, then work, then breakfast Sunday morning, and then 3+ hours back. Yeah, my body is just like, it is not happy. So
I think you've got a drop that might better demonstrate.
But
that.
I have to lift up my arm to actually get it over there. That's where I'm at. I have to make business decisions about whether or not I want to move muscles.
Right.
And plus I had I saw the dermatologist today, and I had like some stuff taken out of like not a big chunk, but a chunk of stuff taken out of my chest. So that's kind of like, I don't want to move a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and it's the left side, so that's like the Hennifer posing side. So that's why Hennifer's not going to make an appearance, because it would be too painful.
Yeah.
So that's not happening. Yeah, I'm not holding that up. There's no way. No, there's no way. Yeah, what else was there? I had something for that, and it's gone. Anyway, yes.
Yeah, besides the fact that you just feel like shit,
Pain.
physically,
So much pain. Just, I'm too old for this
too
shit.
too old to begin the training.
Yes, he's too old. So, Kathy, just randomly got me some MeUndies.
Okay, I saw your note.
Right.
I'm not quite sure what that is.
MeUndies? You've never heard, like, if you ever listened to the Monday Morning Podcast with Bill Burr, he does an ad for MeUndies all the time, and he like sings it. MeUndies, MeUndies. He has like a whole song for it.
Yeah, no, I can't say I do.
So it's an underwear thing, right?
Okay. Like a special brand of underwear?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like the best underwear ever.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently it was a targeted Facebook ad or something that nailed her for...
They've gotten me many a times.
Yeah. So it is Star Wars MeUndies for May the 4th. Right?
Oh, shit.
So she ordered them for me, and they came today. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to open them on the show.
Ah, sweet.
So we're doing this. We're doing it.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Do it live.
Lunar Girl in the chat wants to know if they are like ball hammocks.
I hope not. But we're going to learn today.
Yeah.
So, ready? There's a lot of material, so I doubt it is a banana hammock. Star Wars banana hammock.
They make boxers that come with a pouch now that you stick your balls in, and it like supports your. I swear to God, like that's really a thing.
I feel like that would just make it so much more awkward. Oh,
Yeah.
These are the best. Look at this. Look at this.
The dark side of the Force.
Look at this.
That's all Vader, baby.
It's Vader with
The Death Star.
TIE fighters.
Yep. It's perfect.
Yeah. I will do the comfort
Oh,
test.
let me but I just want to see what that. No, monkey lizards. Okay, it's kind of almost silky. That little guy was hanging on.
It's like, yeah, it's like it's stretchy.
What is that, velvet?
It's stretchy. So I'm an underwear snob. I have I wear Under Armour like underwear, and it has to be like these Under Armour ones, and it has to be like this material. So this is an effort to try and find some underwear that Jason is feeling and describing Dave skivvies not while I'm wearing them.
No.
For the listening audience, not while I'm wearing them.
Yeah, he just had opened them from the package. He's not wearing them.
Right. My balls have not yet been in these. So
I wouldn't be touching them otherwise.
speaking of Mace Windu's purple, look, see.
Oh yeah.
Purple insides. So yeah, I will wear these. I will wash them first because
Good call.
the little sweatshop hands that probably made these. I'm sure they were clean, but I don't trust that, so I wash everything before I wear it.
Yeah, my son actually gave me a shirt that I wanted to wear on the show today, but he just gave it to me like an hour and a half ago, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, no, sorry.
As much as I want to wear it,
Save it for next week.
yeah.
So awesome. Thank you to my wife, who loves me very much, and I love her very much.
Yeah.
Who got me underwear.
So somebody mentioned in the chat, I think Bronco Fett was trying to like poke the bear a little bit and was asking me how I celebrated Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I want the record to show I got Kristen a couple of very nice gifts, very thoughtful gifts. I got them way ahead of time.
You mentioned that.
She loved them. So yeah, it was good. Now I should have brought them in here to show them off because they're actually Star Wars related, but maybe next week.
She did. She said in that text, right? She texted you and said, "Hey, do you want me to show them?"
Yeah, but it's like, nah, we'll
save it for next week.
yeah.
What's our topic for next week? I don't know.
Tells the Empire,
Yes.
which I still have not watched yet.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, last thing, these are a couple of things that I got from the Fan Expo that were still in the bag that I forgot to show off last week. So, the first one is this patch, which looks remarkably like the T-shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah, very similar.
Dare I say that it's probably the same? I think it was.
Yeah, highly likely.
And there it is. And ha-ha! So, yeah, sweet patch. God. TIE pilots are so fucking sexy.
Oh yeah.
God.
And yes, to answer your question, Bronco Fett, I have seen the light. So My days of poo-pooing Mother's Day are over.
Happy wife, happy life.
Though, I was so concerned about, doing something good for Kristen that I completely forgot to call my own mother. So I didn't do that until like well into the afternoon.
Well, that's a choice.
Yeah.
So the other thing, and this is pretty cool. So the shop there I got this T-shirt from had these medals, and it had a bunch of different ones. Like, it had some for Rebellion, some for whatever.
Yeah.
This one in particular is a TIE bomber medal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which
and
it looks like the MSM, doesn't it? Like
the red and the white.
Yeah.
These are like actual military medals that we would wear on our service dress uniforms.
Yeah, it's titled the Star Wars TIE Bomber Order of Tyranny. Combat ready, combat proven. The Order of Tyranny medal. And then it's titled the Norse Legion. And then it has, like, you can see the actual medallion.
Yeah.
So they didn't have a TIE pilot one proper. There it goes. It got into focus.
It's pretty close, though. It's pretty close.
I mean, I don't hate on the TIE bomber. I actually like the TIE bomber better than I like the TIE interceptor, which is weird. I don't have a good reason why. Just reasons.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is the same vendor sold these wings. Little TIE pilot wings.
That is so fucking cool. And that's like, that screams you. It's like they made that for you.
I know, it's so ridiculous. They look a lot like our enlisted aviator wings, which is really funny.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Boom.
Perfect.
So good.
Yeah. TIE bubble with the fucking thing on there.
Yeah. Sorry again to our audio listeners. We're just like gushing over all this physical stuff that we have.
Yeah, I'm sure Luna Girl will remind me to take pictures of it to send for posting later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was it. That was it for the leftovers for the Fan Expo. But yeah, still gushing over the Fan Expo. I finally made a post about it.
Okay.
Just with my Adam Savage interaction, because I was like, okay, I've let it rest for like a week, and then I'm not gonna seem like I'm just too fanboying about it, and so I let it wait a week, and it's still fanboying about it.
Oh,
so
of course,
whatever.
Speaking of which, so I also like posted a lot of my pictures on Instagram, and I tagged some celebrities, and look who liked one of my posts.
Ha!
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see it, but there she is. That would be blue check Gina Carano liked my post. So
nice.
Yeah, because I know I tagged her in the picture of me and her. So
that's awesome.
So she actually took the time to go through her Instagram. She saw my post and she liked it.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was
a good
day.
She's listening right now.
Probably not.
Probably not, because we did a horrible job of mentioning the podcast.
Yeah, well,
anyone in that entire building.
Like I mentioned it on the show the week or the days before we went. Was I should have gotten a fucking Sidebar Cantina shirt to wear to the thing.
Yeah. I have a Sidebar Cantina shirt to wear, and I didn't.
Well, to be fair, you were dressed as a TIE fighter on Saturday, so
yeah, I could have worn it on Sunday.
Yeah,
but I wore my Anakin's daycare shirt,
which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So Friday would have been the day.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
But again,
we're terrible at
I didn't.
marketing.
Yeah, we're like, oh god, we are the worst.
Mm-hmm.
We're the worst ever. We need handlers. That's what we need. We're those people that would like need to have like, oh hey, here, do this, hand this, talk about that. You know, because otherwise we'll just go, well, look, shiny, and we'll just go and do whatever. Oh, let's go talk to those people. Like, hey, you're here to fucking promote the show.
Yeah.
Get back here. Yeah, that's totally us. So yeah, sorry.
Oh, and the gal who did the voice of Hera also liked the Luna Girl's post on Twitter when she posted the photobomb picture.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
So good times.
Yeah, that Fan Expo was good times.
Yeah.
Next year has already been put out.
Really?
Yeah, I think the only issue with next year is that it falls on the same weekend as the McGuire Air Show.
Oh, that's not a problem for me, but
It's a problem for me.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I'll be at the Fan Expo.
Yeah, I might just do one day at the Fan Expo.
Yeah,
we'll see. I may have. I'm going to try and do like. I'm really trying to get like photographer press access for like air show stuff.
Oh.
Like, because I'm way better at taking pictures of airplanes. See today's Instagram post.
That was good.
Than I am of taking pictures of people. Although, I mean, I took some okay pictures at Pike Jam, but yeah, I'm just better at taking pictures of airplanes, and air shows are like the giant erections of fucking of airplane porn. So, because they do photo passes,
right?
So that when you're flying by, you're getting like these picturesque fucking turns. I mean, shit, the goddamn, like, look at.
Doesn't that Blue Angels movie come out this week?
Yes, the 17th.
Yeah.
This is still the background of my iPad.
You took that picture?
I took this picture.
Oh, that's sweet.
This B-29. This was at the Mid-Atlantic Air Show 2 years ago. And that's actually the first weekend in June. So I'll be at that. So I'm really I want to. These are the pictures I want to take. So we'll see. That's next year. It doesn't matter. But I will try and figure out to do both.
Yeah. Well,
and the Thunderbirds are going to be at the McGuire Air Show this year.
Okay.
So,
and I'm sure a lot of it'll depend on the guest list too. Like if it's somebody who's just kind of like meh, then maybe you skip the Fan Expo. Speaking of Fan Expos, so our good friend Bob, who did not show up today because he's having a baby, he told me about the Chicago Fan Expo that's happening in August, I want to say.
Okay.
And we very quickly, after discussing this, made plans to go to Chicago in August for the Fan Expo.
Okay.
Because, well, there's one particular guy that's going to be there that we want to see and get an autograph from. That'd be Mr. Mark Hamill. I don't know if you've ever heard of him or not, but
I heard he's a C-list actor.
Right. But yeah, no, Mark Hamill's going to be in Chicago, which means
holy shit,
Jason and Bob are going to be in Chicago. Yeah. So
when in August is this?
Mid-August, 13, 14, 15, something like that.
Oh my god.
Chicago Fan Expo.
Chicago.
So yeah, our plan was we were going to fly in on like Friday, stay Friday night, get the autograph on Saturday, and then head out like Saturday night or Sunday morning. So like a real quick, in and out, ladies.
Right.
But yeah, it's happening. And the dates are August 18th or 16th to the 18th. So, judging by the noises coming from your mouth, if that is interest that you're showing, then Adam Savage is going to be there. Actually, it seems like a lot of the Philly people are going to be there. Gina Carano's going to be there. A lot of Star Trek personalities in Chicago. But yeah, the fucking cast of Ahsoka is going to be there. So, yeah. But we're going strictly for, Luke himself.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's the draw, obviously.
Yeah, because, Bob, he likes his lightsaber signed. What better way than to get, Mark Hamill to sign, one of the Luke sabers? Shit, he could get him to sign the Baby Killer because he's already had Hayden Christensen sign it. So he could get Mark Hamill to sign it. And then if, like, he was ever lucky enough to meet Daisy Ridley, But, yeah, so.
Something to think about.
Yeah. But let me know if those thoughts become something more serious, and then we can adjust accordingly.
All right.
So
that's it. That's all we got stuff for the weeks.
yeah, I guess we're moving on to our main topic then, huh?
I think we should.
All right.
I think we.
You don't need bathroom or anything.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good too. So. Yeah. All right then. So 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. Now technically it's not until next week, May 19th, or this weekend.
Right.
Because I tell this story every time we talk about Phantom Menace. My sister's birthday is May 19th. And I went to the midnight show of Phantom Menace, the night it opened, so the night of the 18th into the 19th, because that's when they would do midnight showings. And like I was so fucking tired the next day because I had to go like straight to work after that. Like we went there, watched the movie. I tried to sleep for like 2 hours, and then I went to work, and I was dead fucking tired. Completely forgot to call my sister on her birthday that year, and she has never forgiven me or Star Wars ever since.
Oh my god!
So that's how I know that the Phantom Menace came out on May 19th, because I'll never forget that I missed my sister's birthday.
Have you missed it since?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You learned.
Yeah, and it's so much easier now with like texting and stuff, because you don't have to actually call the person. You can just text them and
right. Fucking using the phone is just so archaic.
Yeah,
it's so uncivilized.
I hate it.
Honestly,
I hate making phone calls.
Honestly, I hate
people.
I hate the connectivity.
Yeah,
I'd rather if we go back to telegraph, I'd be happy with that.
I don't know about that.
I'll do dots and dashes. That's fine.
Yeah,
let's just go back to that.
Right. I don't know. I do kind of like the whole, being able to text Kristen and be like, hey, can you bring home milk on your way home today or something, fast, quick messaging.
Well, you could have a peer-to-peer connection with one person. Like, hey, I want to talk to this person. Everyone else, nothing.
Yeah.
Garbage. It would just not. If they didn't have the encryption key, you're not communicating. like every other fucking radio system.
Right.
Like it's not getting the handshake. So you can't get fucking spam texts.
Oh God. Don't even get me started on those.
Yeah. You can't get them because, they don't have the encryption key to fucking make that work.
Do you get the ones where they try to buy your house?
All the time.
Oh yeah, me too.
No, it's not even my house they're trying to buy. It's my parents' house.
Oh.
That has been sold.
Mm-hmm.
And was never it's never in my name.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it got associated with me or my phone number, but yes, people ask me if I want to sell it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I get questions about this house all the time, and I always respond too. I'm always like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. $850,000 in cash as is. No negotiations." They never respond. I don't understand.
I don't think you're asking enough.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think you're underbidding. That's why they're like, he's not serious. I think $1.1 million.
1.1?
1.1.
Okay.
Like you see the neighborhood you're in. I mean, this is a ritzy area, man.
I wouldn't go that far. At least not this section.
You've got electric vehicles, man. This is fucking
solar panels.
And solar panels. This is a fucking let's get the fucking $1 million home going. Let's do this thing.
I should call up Zillow and tell them to update the overhead picture they have of the house, because it's not showing the solar panels. It's an older picture.
Oh, you get so many more text messages.
Oh hell yeah!
If they're like, oh my god, it has solar panels now. Now you can ask all of the monies.
Right.
What were we talking about?
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah. So we went and saw the movie Wednesday of last week.
Yes.
And I gotta say, first of all, it did very well. Box office wise, far exceeded their expectations as to what it was going to do. It ended up being the number 2 movie of the weekend.
Really?
The weekend it came out. Yeah, that May 4th weekend. It was the number 2 movie, only behind, I think, that The Fall Guy. Is that the one that just came out?
I have no idea.
Yeah. But it did really well. Its global total went over 1 billion while it was on this most recent run.
Wow.
So
because they have, are they at an advantage because they had a release previously with the 3D?
Yeah, so the article I read actually did mention that they made a pretty large amount of money on the 3D re-release. I think they made like 100 million globally off of that, which is pretty damn good for a fucking re-release.
So what's really funny is, so I'm heading over to the theater.
Oh yeah,
Right. I'm heading over to the theater, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be, the timeline's going to be a little tighter.
yeah, because there were 6 of us there. I bought 6 tickets,
Right.
and all of us had shown up except for you at this point.
Right. And I'm like, hey, how many people are there?
Mm-hmm.
And Jason's like, oh yeah, I'm glad I bought the tickets early. I'm glad I bought them when I did, because this place is packed.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh. It's like, well, that's surprising, because Swede had gone the night before on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and it was basically 2 other people in the theater with him.
Yeah.
And he basically had the fucking whole thing to himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, huh, that's kind of weird. It'd be so different, right?
Yeah.
And I show up to the parking lot, and there's like 8 cars in the fucking parking lot.
In the
I'm
whole
like,
theater
in
parking
the whole
lot,
theater
yeah.
parking lot. I'm like, come on, buddy, come on, buddy. I'm
And
like,
you knew like 4 of them were me,
Right.
Bob, Rick, and
we were all parked in the same area. I'm like,
Yeah.
I recognize all of these cars. So
Yeah.
that motherfucker.
To be fair, that I'd still say that was cousin Rick's idea to text that, but I'm just the one who went with it.
Yeah, that sounds like something Rick would do.
Yeah, but he was trying to like amp it up even more, and I'm just like, no. I think let's just go with this. Be like,
Yeah.
man, a lot of people here.
Because I'm like, it's not really believable, but it had me thinking about it enough.
Yeah,
But it was Wednesday. It was Wednesday afternoon, right? It was
yeah, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So evening.
evening, I guess.
Yeah,
But what was nice, because walk in the theater, and it was just us.
yeah.
Literally.
Then like 4 people showed up.
Yeah, there was like 4 other people.
Right before it came on, but yeah, for the most part, we had the best seats in the house. We Corey, we got to spread out, which cousin Rick, I don't know how he did this, but he went up to the front row,
Right.
and sat in the front row for the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, staring up at the movie, and then he ended up coming back because I'm probably misquoting exactly what he said, but I think it had something to do with the bad CGI. He's just like, I can't stand looking at it from this close anymore. I got to move back.
Yeah. Well, and he also mentioned that like he was missing some conversation, because you and Bob were going like full on Mystery Science Theater 3000 on this thing.
Yeah.
While Kristen and I are kind of over, a couple of rows or a couple seats away, just kind of chilling, just watching, and I can hear your guys' comments coming from one ear.
I felt like, are we being too loud? And then I was like, fuck it. It was just whatever. Like, everyone who's in this theater right now has seen this movie at least once.
I would imagine.
Right. Well, that was Rick's second viewing
Ever. Yeah, because he saw it, when it came out in 99, and then he said he hated it so much that he never saw it again.
Right. And this was his second viewing.
Wow. Now, I didn't get a chance to ask him, but did his opinion change at all after this viewing?
I don't think it did.
Okay.
I really don't think it did.
That's too bad.
But yeah, I mean, that's his thing.
Yeah.
Is that train just sitting right there?
Kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's either that or it's one of the cars.
Yeah, I think it's one of the cars across the street.
Motherfucker just idling there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the things that you don't hear in the audio that we hear.
Yeah, and we have to pretend we don't hear.
Right, and then get distracted because, regardless of how much Adderall I have in my system, there's no controlling my ADHD.
I need some Adderall.
I need more of it. Like, it's one of those. You kind of ramp up into the dosage, and I'm still ramping, and I haven't hit the sweet spot yet. So I don't know what I don't know what good is yet. Like,
yeah, one thing I've heard about that too is you're supposed to take it like as early in the day as possible, because I guess if you take it later in the day, you're never going to sleep. kind of
yeah,
thing.
that's the thing. And then I will say that the one thing I have noticed is, it does work as an appetite suppressant,
Oh.
but it's a big but. Fucking arm does not. I'm like commanded my arm to move, and it just did not want to move. It's if you're still awake, and you're that appetite suppressancy has worn off, you're going to eat everything you see.
Oh, no shit.
Oh yeah, it's like
Just like a complete swing the other way.
oh yeah, I like it is horrific. And then for me, because I have the acid reflux, it's like, oh no, that's not good. Now I'm gonna either go to bed with reflux, or I'm gonna have to stay up longer so that I don't
to
have
let
the
it
reflux.
settle. Yeah.
So it's a whole fucking thing. So yeah, get to bed when you're like, okay, it's bedtime. Click and try and go out like normal. So there's a balance there. I don't know where it is. I'm still working on it. But what's really funny is, so like, I saw doctors today, and this is why it's called the Sidebar Cantina, kids. I was at the doctor's today, and I mentioned the Adderall thing. He's like, "Oh, you just started?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "Well, did you have like diagnosed ADHD as a kid?" It's like,
No.
I was born in the 70s, man.
Yeah,
like,
none of us did.
That wasn't a thing. It was like when I was in grade school, when I was getting up and bothering everyone else in the classroom, they put me in another classroom.
Yeah.
They put me in the enrichment program for intelligent children, which was basically a holding pen for all the fucking other ADHD kids. That's what that was.
Right.
Right? So if you were out there in the fucking 80s in grade school and you were in the enrichment program for intelligent children, guess what? You have ADHD. That's why you were there. Like, it just so happens that you were it's all borderline autistic. Also, probably there's some spectrum of autism that's in there. That's why we're all intelligent that we're in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was disruptive in the class because we were bored because these fucking window lickers couldn't spell. Right. Meanwhile, we're like reading. Like, you can't.
That is true. Like, I remember like constantly being frustrated because like people would always ask the question like, "Oh, I don't understand," and I'd just be like,
like,
it's so simple."
This is the dumbest shit ever. And I like, so what Dave would do is the stories about the level of frustration my first grade teacher had with me, and it was her first year teaching.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I would get up and I would walk across the classroom and I would stare out the window. I would like pull the shades up. I would stare out the window and watch airplanes.
Like mid lesson?
That didn't matter when.
Wow.
Taking a test, doing whatever. I'm like, nope. Hey, I hear an airplane. I'm going to walk over to the window. I'm just going to stare out the window. Like, and you want me to sit down? No, I'm doing this. Right. But you have to do this. I've already done that. So while they're doing this, I'm going to do that. Like, and you're stupid. Like, there were so many dumb kids. Oh my God, they were so stupid. No, they weren't. They weren't stupid. That's the wrong mentality. But anyway. Where was I going with that?
I have no idea.
How do we get on that sidebar?
You were talking about ADHD, Adderall.
What's that have to do with the fucking Phantom
I don't know.
Menace?
We started talking about Adderall. I think I mentioned, I need some. And then you went on this long ADHD story.
Jesus Christ.
I think you just justified your need for Adderall in that sidebar. So, all right, let's get back on track. Phantom Menace 25th anniversary.
Yes.
So let's first talk about do you want to get into your history? Because I know we've talked about this several times. So.
Yes, only because like if we've got some new listeners that haven't necessarily heard our history for it. Like you already alluded to it a little bit your first time, right? So you should continue with the rest of your history.
Well, yeah. So I went, obviously, like I was a huge Star Wars fan even back then. And we finally were getting this new movie that George had been talking about for, over a decade.
Right.
About these prequels. And, I was so fucking excited, especially when that first trailer came out. I'm like, oh my God. And, I followed all of the development. I read all the Star Wars insiders and everything you could find on the internet back then, which wasn't a ton, but there was still some stuff. And yeah, I gobbled it all up. 2 weeks prior to the movie's release, when the fucking action figures came out, I stood in line at Toys R Us at the midnight opening for when they started selling the toys. I bought like the 2 video games that came out with it at the same time, the pod racing game and then the just that overhead action game. So yeah, I was all fucking in at this point. And saw it midnight on opening night. Kristen was with me. We had been dating for a little over 2 years at this point. And then I think I saw it 3 times total while it was in that original theatrical run. It wasn't until probably the 3rd showing that I'm like, there's a lot of this stuff that's really bad. And, from there, though I still would watch it, I still appreciated a lot of aspects of it, but I became one of those, this movie fucking sucks, fuck George and whatever the fuck he was doing, fuck Jar Jar, all of that. Yes, Anal Jim was there the night that we saw it. But I had planned that because, he and I were like the 2 big Star Wars fans in our squadron at the time.
Right.
And, we planned that out. Like we were going to go there at the same time. But when Attack of the Clones came out, I hadn't talked to Jim in years because I separated from the Air Force and then went over to the Guard side and bumped into him midnight opening night of Attack of the Clones.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And that was just by happenstance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but 3 viewings total. And by the 3rd one, I realized, oh my God, so much of this is a piece of shit. And then I kind of joined the hate bandwagon. I still to this day, from the moment they came out, episodes 2 and 3, still love them. Never, I see that there's some flaws with them, but I've never disliked them the way I always disliked Phantom Menace. And even when we did our movie lists, when we started the show and then we would revisit it year after year, Phantom Menace would always be pretty close to the bottom. And I think that might change for me the next iteration around, and we'll get into it. But yeah, that's sort of like what I was doing back in '99 when this came out.
Yeah, as we're sitting here talking about it, like I'm trying to actually remember the first time I saw it in '99. I know I saw it.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
Kate was a newborn. I just started in the unit at the time.
Yep.
As a maintainer, so I may have saw it on base.
Oh yeah, because those movie theaters on base would show movies a couple weeks after they came out.
Yeah.
In theaters,
like we were on alert because it was still hard alert. So we had you couldn't leave the base, and they were showing it on base. So I was able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
In at least in the theater, but with a pager and a radio,
right?
God, those were the days. Calling into command post over the radio that hey, alert 2, 3, and 6 are at the movie theater. Yeah, it's the new kids in the unit don't have any fucking idea about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm pretty sure, even if that wasn't the first time I saw it, I know I saw it in the base theater.
Yeah,
I remember the movie poster being there in the base theater.
Mm-hmm.
And being like, oh shit, Star Wars, and then not working out.
So like, were you not thinking about it much leading up to the release? Like, were you not really plugged into the hype or anything?
I couldn't have. Now that I think about it, I couldn't have, because I didn't start until October. What were we doing May of '99 was I did see it in the base theater, but I wasn't in the unit. We were activated.
Oh,
Remember, we were
for the Kosovo thing.
Yeah, we were activated for Kosovo.
Yeah.
We were still on that presidential activation.
Yeah, I was deployed for a decent amount of that time.
Yeah, so that's why I saw it in the base theater.
Yeah,
Because my chalk never left. Like, we were supposed to leave, but my chalk never left.
oh,
So, but I got to stay on orders, and we just stayed on base.
yeah.
That's why. Because I'm like, wait, May '99. I didn't get in the unit till October of '99.
The whole story about Anal Jim is really dominating the chat right now.
That's well, as it should, because Anal Jim hasn't been talked about in forever. So Anal Jim,
like, should I refresh people's memory for?
I mean, you can.
There was this guy that I met. His name was Jim. Super cool guy. A few years older than me. But we met when we first joined the Air Force, and we were in the same squadron, and we quickly realized we were both hardcore Star Wars fans. He's the guy who first told me about the holiday special. I had no idea the holiday special even existed until I met this guy, and I got a hold of a copy of it in 98 or 99. He and I would take the fucking bus from base to the Cherry Hill Mall, and then we'd walk to the old Toys R Us on 38 from the mall to go like look for Star Wars toys and things like that. So, but the reason we call him Anal Jim is, he had this thing where the girls that he hooked up with, he always had to do anal with them. Like, always. Like, if he couldn't, get it in the back door, then he wanted nothing to do with them. And, like, he would tell me stories all the time about girls that, like, had never done it before. And he's like, don't worry, I got this. And, he'd always jam it in. And
Anal Jim.
Yeah, it was, he was an interesting guy. I'll just say that, but good dude.
Anal Jim making his reappearance in, in the sidebar. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so seeing it in base theater in 99, then seeing it again in the theater for the 3D re-release.
Okay, so yeah, that was in 2012 when it did the 3D re-release.
Yeah, it was, in fact, I just had it pulled up in my... Because what's interesting...
Dragon Buddy said, so Anal Jim was the Phantom Menace.
February 10th is when I saw it, because I actually I got it in the notes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great because it was an opportunity to take the kids to see it in a theater.
Yeah.
Right. When Phantom Menace first came out, and even like because I saw the Clone Wars, and I saw the Clone Wars in fucking Iowa. I was
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones. Yes.
Yeah.
Which really should have been called the Clone Wars, but whatever.
That's neither here nor there.
That is whatever. Yeah, I saw Attack of the Clones episode 2 in Iowa for when it got released, and I forget where I was for episode 3. But I was also TDY.
Oh, really?
Episode 3. Yeah, I'm almost positive. So, and the kids were too little for any of those to really appreciate it. So by the time episode 1 got re-released in 3D, I was like, all right, this is great. The kids get the opportunity to see it in a theater, hear John Williams in the fucking theater. And you know what? The 3D experience, it wasn't like they didn't do a lot of extra shit to make it 3D.
Because I would imagine it's got to be hard to convert an existing movie into a 3D movie.
I couldn't tell you, as I sit here right now, I couldn't tell you what they actually, aside from some like foreground stuff and like when they were in the underwater scenes, I think they had some aspects of that were in 3D.
I could see that.
But for the most part, there was nothing that was standing out.
Yeah.
Where it was like, wow, this is in 3D. I was there for the experience, getting the kids in the theater, and then also hearing the score.
Sure.
And then fucking seeing the Duel of the Fates, seeing one of the best lightsaber sequences ever.
Yeah.
in this movie. So, and getting to see it in the theater was like, when are we going to get a chance to see this again?
Well, not until 2024.
Right. And this was prior to the Disney buyout, right? So
Yeah.
this was, if this had continued, because in my notes, what's really interesting is I had put down like, okay, this is when all of these are supposed to come out.
Yeah.
In 3D. I don't have that note anymore.
Yeah.
But I had the release dates for all the other 3D movies. So I'm like, okay, this is when we're going to do this. We're going to do this for the 3D movies.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, also because at this time, George had already made it very clear, like, I'm done making Star Wars movies. I did the prequels. That's it.
Yeah.
No more Star Wars. So
this was it.
Yeah.
This was how you were going to get Star Wars. So getting to the theater, 3D or whatever it was, this is how you're going to get into a theater to see Star Wars. So I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, put a pin in each one of those dates for when it comes out in 3D, and be ready for it.
Yeah.
Then the buyout happens.
Yeah.
3D comes off the menu.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no 3D releases for episodes 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Because they were, obviously they wanted to work on this other stuff.
Right. Which, ironically, the first time we saw Force Awakens was in 3D. I completely forgot about that. Because remember, we saw it on IMAX in 3D?
That's right. That was 3D, wasn't it?
Yeah. Which, God, I can barely remember much about it, but I do remember it being a pretty cool experience, despite the fact that we're wearing the fucking 3D glasses the whole time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I remember several scenes really standing out when we saw that in 3D. Something I wouldn't actually mind doing again, but
See, the whole 3D thing really doesn't really do anything for me. Like,
yeah.
It's cool, but I mean the 4DX thing I think is more.
Yeah, that's fun too.
There's such good virtual reality stuff out there that I think 3D just doesn't it just can't compete.
Yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, fuck. What was I saying? Oh, I lost it. Anyway, carry on.
No, that's it.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, you saw it in 3D in 2012.
Yes.
And that was when it made like another 100 million globally, which so it did well. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I'm so pissed that I fucking missed that. But that was a period of time where I was really fucking down on Phantom Menace. Like, I'm like, fuck this fucking movie. It fucking sucks. Fuck Jar Jar. Fuck Anakin,
Oh, don't get it twisted. I was not in a I was in a fucking this is the worst Star Wars movie they've ever made. Camp. I was 100% in that camp.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to see it in theaters. Because the worst Star Wars movie is still better than a lot of movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's Star Wars. This is our thing.
Yeah. And, George, like he did with every other project that he worked on, he put in, 100% effort, all of his free time. Like, he put everything, his heart and soul into this, just as much as he did the original trilogy. Now, people might not have liked the final product, but, and we can debate that when we start talking about specifics. But, this was still George's, I don't want to say love child, but...
Well, I think, too, when we did, I think we did a breakdown of, there's my big old fucking hand, and there we go. When we did the breakdown of, we did the movie that was the making of episode 1.
Yeah, the from the beginning, which was incredible.
Yes. And I think that gave us a lot of really good insight onto what George was doing, like in the making of that movie. And I think we can all agree that one of the things that that we struggle with in this movie, and I think something that we'll talk about when we get into specifics of the rewatch, is the forefront of the CGI that he was putting on the screen was just that. This was the beginning.
Yeah.
This was the beginning of really getting this integrated to a point where it is the majority of the shots of this movie. So much so it's like, okay, here's Jar Jar. We got an actor that was wearing, had the whole rig on for a lot of it, and then it's like, okay, now we're going to replace this.
Yeah.
And that was the mentality. Is like we're gonna make this digital as much as possible.
Yep.
And
again, way ahead of his time because, after this, like, look at every fucking Marvel movie. It's like every single thing that they film is in front of a green screen. Yeah. And then they fucking CG everything. Like, literally, I was watching one behind the scenes thing for one of the last Avengers movies where they're on, like, supposed to be on this New York City street, right? Mm-hmm. So they're outside of a building and you can just, like, see down this long street and buildings in the background. All CG'd. They couldn't have just, like, gone to a location. No, they just put them in front of a green screen. There's New York right behind you.
Yeah. But the stuff they're doing in the round in that with, like, the Mandalorian set.
Yeah.
The camera technology that they're using to be able to capture that image, like, it's the same thing, but it's an actual image, and it's not a blue screen with CGI. It's
right.
Like, hey, this is behind them.
Which probably helps the actors, I would imagine.
Sure. It helps the actors, and plus the camera is picking up some depth of field that's actually there.
Yeah.
The biggest issue with green screen and blue screen has always been depth. Like, it's really, really difficult to give something depth.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it. Whereas with what they're doing with the round, I think it's called the round. I keep saying that.
We'll go with it.
Let's just, that's what it's called now.
Yeah.
Favreau, you listening? That's what it is. I think that technology now allows the camera to pick up, like, depth, and they're still using. They have physical medium and physical props and things that are, like, in the foreground with the actors, so that there's still some blending of this. Mm-hmm. But I think that's helped a lot. Yeah,
I think especially in Ahsoka, you watch Ahsoka, the show, and they utilize that same technology, but it looks fucking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. And they're still building big sets. And then I think that where I was going with that was the camera when it moves, because of the way they're panning, the entire thing moves with it.
Yeah.
Like, that was a big thing where it's like the camera's not moving across this green screen, and then the green screen image, like, is kind of moving asynchronously.
Sure.
Like, the camera is picking up the image, and then as it turns, the entire thing is turning. So it's like, it's actually way more realistic.
Yeah.
And that technology has made, yes, it's computer generated, but it has given it more realism. Mm-hmm. So, and made that more doable.
And I mean, I got to say, though, we're talking 25 years ago, the CG in the Phantom Menace, so much of it still really holds up. I don't know how you feel about it, but watching it this time in theaters again, I'm like, a lot of the CG is still, still movie worthy today. And I'll tell you the scene that really did it for me.
Okay.
Which was always one of my favorite scenes in the movie, when it's the battle droids versus the fucking Gungans in that big field, and they're like hurling the shit at the fucking shields, and it ain't doing anything. So they're like, all right, bring out the battle droids. And then as those fucking battle droids are coming out, the ship opens up and then they fall down and come down, like that whole scene, all that CG was done so fucking well. It looks really good still.
So, yeah. So what I'll say about the CG, this is my take on the CG, like watching it on the big screen, and I kind of had it on in a window today when I was teleworking. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit more close up to it, but still, it's like really good, where it's like, wow, it's remarkable how well that's held up, or it's really bad. I feel like it's very, very binary, where it's like, oh man, that didn't hold up very well.
I could see that.
And then because there's a lot of elements where Guado, right?
Guado.
The Targaryen.
Oh, Watto.
Watto. Yeah.
I'm like, who's Guado?
Or I'm thinking Quado, like from Anyway, Watto,
Yeah.
his integration was really good. Like you can how it's actually in the scenes where they're in the junkyards and everything else. Actually, I thought was done really really well. Like shading and everything else. Like wow, okay, that's like looks like it would be done today.
Yeah.
There were some sequences with the battle droids where it was like, okay, that looks like it was overlaid a little bit. And you know, it had some clunky moments to it with the CGI. It just did.
Yeah. But you compare it to anything that was coming out at the time. It was fucking miles ahead.
At the time, it really was. But it definitely had this CG like glow to it. Like it had that, okay, this is the coloring of the CG.
Yeah.
Unless the entire scene, like the battle droid scene, because that entire thing was CG.
Yeah.
So it had the same coloring all the way across. So it had like that same level of realism.
Yeah.
The one thing to note, like that scene exactly that you're talking about, with the battle droids being excised from the ship.
Yeah.
And they're being put on the ground. You look at the grass. Like the grass at their feet is kind of moving around like in the wind. I was like, wow, it's the same level of detail like when I'm playing Battlefront and I'm walking over and looking at the fucking ice.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Look how good that is. Those big ticket items with that, I think they did good. Overall, I would agree with you that the majority of it still. It doesn't take you out of the movie.
No, definitely not.
But it can be clunky at parts because we've seen this movie, even though it's
dozens of times.
It's not our favorite Star Wars movie, but the proverbial we, that's not my cousin Rick. We've seen it, dozens of times. So we're watching it with this eye. We're like we got our hairy eyeball all over it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're looking for that.
Sure. Now real quick, let's pivot for a second away from Phantom Menace and to The Acolyte, because after the movie, we got that extended Acolyte clip.
Right.
Because that was kind of part of why they did this in the first place. It was sort of to promo Acolyte coming out next month, but it's supposed to tie in nicely with the prequels, so we'll see. But yeah, what did you think of that clips? Because it was mostly just the fight between what's her name, the Jedi,
Trinity.
Yeah, Trinity the Jedi, and then that assassin girl. And it was just basically an extended cut of that fight that we've seen in trailers.
I'm excited. It was, I think Malgus.
Oh,
is that Malgus?
Yeah,
I think he fell over.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I'm excited, cautiously optimistic, but excited. I'm a little worried that the Matrix style fighting would just get a little bit too much.
Yeah, and
like the very obvious it seemed like even that sequence, it seemed like this is the same stunt coordinator as the Matrix.
Maybe, or like this the gal who's like the showrunner is maybe she's just like a big, kung fu samurai movie fan and she wants to go back to that kind of stuff.
Which I don't have a problem with getting to that combat style at all. It's just the slowing things down and just the movements. You can't help but it's Trinity, right? So the coincidence of character is there.
Yeah, with all the Matrix moves.
Yeah, and so I don't want that to take away from something that could potentially be story-wise really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
What I want, what Dave wants in the Acolyte is I want bodies.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Yes. Like we still got to work on that.
Let the bodies hit the.
That wasn't a good one. That wasn't in the throat enough.
I wonder what my neighbors think when they hear that, because they've got to be able to hear it through these walls
Maybe.
when you do the goat scream.
Should I do it louder?
No, not necessarily.
Just do it different.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I enjoyed the clip.
Yeah.
Obviously, it left me wanting more. And
we don't have to wait that long. That's the best part. Like,
Yeah.
it's rolling right around the corner. So
yeah,
that's
just under a month now. So
Dead Bodies makes Dave happy. Well, I mean, in context.
Oh, and by the way, sidebar, but it's about Star Wars. I'm seeing a lot of articles online about the Bad Batch, and a lot of people sort of have the same opinion as you. Is like, what was the point of all that? You know, I saw one article that was pretty long, and the guy essentially said, like, oh yeah, you had all these great action sequences and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, why did I spend 3 seasons worth of time watching this when at the end of the day nothing happened?
Nothing happened.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, it's a good point, but I mean, for some people, the ride is, the experience.
That's what you're going with?
Yeah,
The ride is the experience?
Yeah.
Bad Batch. The ride is the experience.
Well, yeah, because ultimately nothing happened with the grand story of Star Wars.
That's the showrunner. The ride is the experience. Like, who's Omega? Doesn't matter. The ride is the experience. It's just in. Yeah, you're gonna waste several hours of your life, potentially days, watching a show that is not going to further any Star Wars canon, and it will be called The Bad Batch, The Ride.
Ooh, Bad Batch the ride. They need to make that at Disney World.
The ride is the way. Yeah. I'm glad other people are with me in being correct, because Dave is always right.
Yeah. So, all right. Getting back to Phantom Menace. So let's talk about our feelings about the movie now, specifically seeing it this time around. Because I gotta say, lately, every time I see this movie, I like it more and more. And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting old and, less cranky about stuff, but like the more I watch it, the more I'm like, okay, this was actually, if you really think about the story and what George was trying to do, it's actually really good. I have some biases, obviously, Jar Jar being the biggest culprit. And, this is something else that I didn't mention when we talked about our history. When it came close to, the movie coming out, and, we all had these visions in our head, us young Star Wars fans, like, oh, these prequels are going to be awesome. It's going to be fucking Yoda training Obi-Wan, and then fucking Anakin rolls in and, oh man, it's going to be crazy. And then it's like, who's this fucking Qui-Gon guy? Why is he training Obi-Wan? He said the Yoda trained him. What the fuck?
Right.
So, and like, I did not like Qui-Gon at all. Because it's like, who's this fucking asshat that just appeared out of nowhere and he's in every fucking scene?
Right.
But now that we have some context for who he was, I love his character. I absolutely love him in this movie. I think Liam Neeson did a fantastic job. And if you think about it, this is the Qui-Gon movie. Like, it really is, because it's really focused around him up until the moment he dies.
Right.
But, he's in pretty much every scene. He's the driving character in this. It's not Obi-Wan. It's not fucking Anakin. It's Qui-Gon, who is really like leading this whole story.
Yeah, it's his decisions that are driving everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Right. For the plot line.
Right.
So him moving the chance cube, him, taking them off planet, convincing the queen to go off planet first.
Yeah.
First and foremost. And then how does he not know that's not the fucking queen? Like, honestly, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Like, everybody knew. Like, I just
Yeah.
There's still a couple of things,
Mm-hmm.
right? You talk about, hey, as you get older, you soften a little bit, and I'm with you there. I think age has kind of made us a little more, has let us not, no, because we're still judgy.
Yeah.
It's not being judgy. It's just like, hey, there's other things that are going to make this better. Like you're saying, it's like, okay, we have some more background info.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Qui-Gon as much. I hated what the movie had done to make us question what the first movie was.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it was like, what are you doing to the canon right now?
Yeah.
Like, and that was the big question. Like, you know, Yoda trained Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
No, he didn't. Not really, except for like, oh, I'm going to train you how to commune with Qui-Gon.
Yeah. Or like
right.
when Obi-Wan was a youngling, maybe he was in Yoda's youngling class, you know, with the kids with their little, like, you know, foot-long lightsabers.
Train him for 5 minutes. Like that.
Yeah.
Why would Obi-Wan have used Yoda specifically in that context and not talk about Qui-Gon?
Well, because like he had to get a message to Luke, right? And that's the thing. Like Luke's fucking sitting there dying in the snow, right? And Obi-Wan's like, okay, I don't really have the time to fucking talk about Qui-Gon and how he was really my master. I was his Padawan, but then Yoda and blah, blah, blah. Just, Luke, there's a Jedi that instructed me. Yoda, he's on this planet. You will go to the Dagobah system. You know, it's like, these Force Ghost calls are, you know, cost a lot of credits per minute. So, you know, we gotta speed this up. So for brevity's sake, yeah, go see Yoda.
Ayla Sakura is knocking on the fucking window. She needs to get in to make a fucking call.
Right.
Like, and I'm prone to let her because she's got big fucking Twi'lek titties and she wants to get in here. So
I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Yeah. So I mean, really, like, you know, you can sort of look at it in that context now, but at the time, yeah, I was furious. Right. I'm like, what the fuck? This is not what we were promised. God damn it.
Right. So there's that. The other thing about the movie that it's still kind of like this. So let's talk about what bothers us about Jar Jar the most, right?
Okay.
So what really it's not just Jar Jar. And when I watched it this last time, and I when I watched it again today, you know, I kind of having it on in the background. It's interesting because in 1999, cultural appropriation wasn't a thing, right?
No,
Obviously not. But the obviousness of, okay, here's the Nemoidian characters. These are like Asian-based characters.
Yeah.
So
with these terrible accents.
The accents were so over the top, and like the pronunciation of some words and like the over pronunciation and inserting idioms and things like that. It's like this was dialogue that was overdone.
Yes.
Right. And it was dialogue that was overdone in a ridiculous accent coming from a great looking, you know, from the monster shop at ILM. They did a great job making the Nemoidian.
Yeah.
But now you didn't have to fucking go so far.
Oh, blockade is a perfectly ego.
There you go. And sure, you had to pick an accent and you fucking went for it, and I get all that, but like there was a point where with Jar Jar and with the Nemoidians that if you had just throttled back on some of this just the nonsense language and just went with plain language, right? With so the Alistair, right, when they're in the Senate and the representatives from Alistair that were talking in the Senate. Yeah, and even the Nemoidians that were talking in the Senate,
they weren't nearly as annoying.
No, it was almost plain English.
Yeah, yeah,
right. And maybe because they're, I don't know, maybe want to make the argument because they were senators and they're just because they're in that
right.
element.
They come from wealthy families and you know aristocratic.
Yeah, maybe their basic is better because of it, but or you know insert whatever explanation here. Mm-hmm. But I think that. This is where George kind of overreached a little bit.
Yeah,
a
little bit.
I want them to be different because they're aliens, and I want them to be speaking in a different tongue. So we're going to have them say words that are going to sound different in English
Yeah.
and seem out of place because I want them to almost be sounding like they're speaking a different language. And same thing with Jar Jar. Like sometimes he's saying words that are like completely just nonsense out of place.
Yeah.
And it just makes that character devolve into more nonsense.
Yeah.
Whereas I think even with the accent, even with the, whatever, I think you can salvage that character for what he is in the plot line. Like this is the catalyst to bring Qui-Gon into to connect with Naboo.
Sure.
Right. This is how this happens.
Right.
So fine, you can do that. This is the local, right, that he runs into, and how that happens, and then getting to the next parts. Sure, but I can pick, right? why do that?
Yeah.
Right, when you're trying to like have this conversation about sentience while you're running through the fucking forest, right? You have a Jedi questioning the intelligence of who is obviously a sentient being, and then like just because you can speak doesn't make you intelligent, which is a great line.
Yeah.
I love the line, but like how Jar Jar's like his initial response to that was just like, okay, you said it, you had him say it in such a way, and I don't blame the actor at all. Like this is what George wanted.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have made it to the page.
No.
Or to the film.
Yeah. And, that goes back to, again, George saying, well, he made these movies for kids, which I certainly believe it with episode 1. And probably New Hope also. But, as the trilogies progressed, your audience gets older and older. But I think he went too hard on the goofy side, because it wasn't just Jar Jar, it was, first of all, Jar Jar, he said how rude like 3 fucking times in the movie. It's like, you could do it once, because, again, this was the late 90s. This was when the fucking, the one show. No, not even Urkel. The fucking family with the fucking 3 daughters. With fucking Uncle Joey and
Full House?
Full House, yes, because the fucking Olsen girls, or the middle sister would always go, how rude, so like we were in the midst of that, which is exactly where they pulled these
Jodie Sweeten.
Yeah, which she's actually pretty hot now, but
giant, huge tracts of land.
Yeah, but yeah, they took it to like he took it too far with the goofiness between everything that Jar Jar did, like stepping in shit, fucking smelling farts, saying how rude 3 times, just
sticking his face in the fucking the binders.
Yeah, and his like tongue is all numb.
My babies should never like. All right,
Yeah.
you're doing your best fucking Bill Cosby impression,
Right, which
there.
that scene might have actually been funny if he hadn't been so fucking goofy up to that point.
Right.
When he's just so over the top all the time, the shit that he does later is just like, whatever,
Yeah.
just stop.
Dropping the wrench into the like creating a FOD issue, and then like, oh my god, it's just that annoying on a whole nother level. Something that you can eliminate entirely under that same ilk is the boss man.
Oh
right?
yeah,
that okay.
Boss Nass.
Cultural appropriation notwithstanding, the way that I just like, what the fuck were you thinking with the
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, what were you thinking? Oh,
Like, did anybody actually laugh at that?
Like-
or anybody think, oh, that was really cool,
you know what,
George?
When he's making a decision, he's going to go like, this is a really important thing I'm about to do. Like that just, it irritated me. I knew it was coming. Bob and I both were like, oh, it's God, or like tensing up because
Yeah.
we knew that fucking the fucking
Yeah,
slobber was coming.
Are you talking about the second time he does it when he's talking to Natalie Portman, or are you
No,
talking
the
the
first time.
Okay.
And the second time.
Yeah.
Like any time.
And again, that's the thing. Like, he fucking overdoes it. It's like, okay, one time, whatever, but then he does it again later.
And then they gotta walk like this. They gotta have this like strut for some fucking reason. Yeah. And then
the fucking pod race. Like there's all kinds of goofy shit going on with that, from like some of the racers. Like you got the fucking Three Stooges droids. You've got the fucking two-headed guy. That's gotta hurt. I don't care what galaxy you're from.
So, all right, I 100% agree with you. 100%. However, this particular time, I said to myself, we are an audience that looks at this with, like, for us as previous maintainers, and even Brady just brought it up, and this is what made me think about it. He brings up how civilians don't understand what FOD is, you know, and shit like that. Like the thing that bothers me about the pod race is like I have to get past Star Wars physics to get to here, right? You're using these, what is obviously a fucking a turbojet engine, right, for Anakin's pod, and okay, you're pulling air through this, and then you're starting it with fuel, but that's not coming from anywhere because there's no fuel. There's no tank. There's no tank for fuel.
Sure, when Anakin he feeds it through, he like feeds from one tank to the other to even.
Where's
out.
The tank? Where's the fuel tank?
It's somewhere within
Where's
the pod.
the fuel tank, Jason?
It's in the pod.
There's no fucking fuel. There's no fuel tank, Jason.
There has to be.
There. Show it to me.
I mean,
show me where the fucking fuel tank is.
I don't have schematics for Anakin's fucking pod in front of me.
We see it with the thing. It's like, bloop, 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 which is cool. I love the graphic. I love showing the balancing out and like, hey, I'm going to use, just like in a real engine, right? You know, like, oh, I'm going to pull fucking bleed air off of this one and to start this engine. And like, great. I love all of that. But that's how we're thinking about it. Like, we're thinking about it like people who know how things work. Not like people who watch NASCAR to just want to watch the race and see cars go by.
Right.
That's not how we were looking at it. We were looking at it like, okay, airplanes fly and need to get fixed, and this is not how maintenance works. This is not how these things work.
All right, see, now I wasn't nitpicking the pods themselves at all in any of this.
I did that in 1999. I did it again. Like, every time I watched that fucking scene and did anything with the fucking pods, I fucking did that. I nitpicked it every time.
I never do that because I enjoy the pod race scene for the most part. I just hate the goofy shit that they tacked onto it.
Yeah.
You know, which the one guy whose like thing is like broken, he's like, ah, and then like his fucking the connector leaves and then everything shoots off in different directions. It's like, okay.
I like this. I like the CG that they did for the pod race. I like the pod race in general.
Yeah.
I can't. How does Anakin catch up so quickly? Like, how's
because there's nobody in front of him to stop him. He's got just
he passed a bunch of people. Like, remember, he stalled at the line,
right?
Then he got going, and then he started passing people. Like, and then he stalled again. Like, you remember, he had to back way off, and then he caught up again.
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing? What's so much faster about that pod?
He's got turbo boosts.
Turbo's meant for bursts. It's not meant to hold the button down.
Sure.
Like Galaxy Quest, right? Remember
right.
Galaxy Quest? Like, you can't hold the button down.
Right. But yeah, no, like what I was saying was there's too much silly, goofy shit in this.
Right.
If he had just pulled it back a little bit, that would have made the movie so much better. Just pull a little back on Jar Jar. Pull a little back on the stupid two-headed commentary guy. You know, just little less silly. I can understand, like, you're still catering to a younger audience and you still want to have, you know, some silly moments and some laugh moments, but come on.
Does Jabba the Hutt need to have Mrs. Hutt?
No.
Like, with her floppy titties?
Right.
Like, did we need that?
No,
we didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't need that. They could have done a better job with fucking Bib Fortuna's stand-in. Like,
but
I didn't like the makeup job on that guy.
Well, but to kind of bring it full circle, that is the same guy who played Big Bib Fortuna at the end of Mandalorian season 2.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was the same actor.
Oh, no shit.
That, you know, Boba Fett walked in on and just bink.
I didn't know that, and we probably talked about that, and I don't remember that. And now that you said that, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Doesn't change the fact that he then could have done the makeup better on him. But
Yeah. De Wanawanga.
Dawanawanga. Boss, wake up. The fucking race is over. And your wife stinks because she doesn't wash underneath her fucking her floppy titties.
Blech.
God, it's gotta smell. That whole fucking thing's gotta smell terrible. Terrible. The whole like how do they procreate? How do Hutts procreate?
I think we had this conversation before.
Did we really?
I think he uses the tip of his tail and just like jams it into somewhere on her. And then, yeah, his ejaculate comes out of the tip of his tail.
It's got like.
Why do you think when Leia's like fucking, laying
open up Hutt? Let's see. Like, do we have one open yet? We need to like roll him on his side, see if it's.
No, but think about it. When he's got Leia captured, like he's putting his fucking tail over her. That's like basically like me just like going over and just flopping my dick right on her shoulder. Like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Nothing.
I don't have anything to counteract that because it's the only penis-like object on the thing.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's got a micro penis somewhere that.
My penis is so smooth.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. All right. So
yeah, just talking about the shit that we didn't like then, and I'm just tolerating now more all the goofy stuff,
Yeah.
And viewing it this time around, I was able to brush most of it off without just being like, ugh. There were still a couple of scenes.
Well, like you said, like Bob and I were doing the MST 3000 thing on a lot of it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we were. It doesn't mean I wasn't enjoying it. It just is like those little things as they came up. I was just like, there it is.
Oh yeah.
There's that thing right there. That bothers me.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that bothers me.
But like for me personally, I feel like it's something I can watch now, start to finish, and not, hate myself during it. Like I feel like I felt like I've really come to terms with Phantom Menace to the point where there's some real enjoyment to be had there, especially when you think about it in the greater Star Wars universe and the greater story that's going on. Like, say what you will about George, but he told a hell of a story across the prequels.
Yeah, the prequels just by themselves, and I think we've talked about this before, but the story of the prequels, regardless, even prior to our softening our stance
My penis is so smooth.
on the prequels themselves and on episode 1, what the story is telling us and what it's doing for the canon is so good and so important.
Oh yeah.
That the presentation of it, you kind of got to get over it, right? And
yeah, essentially.
That's where I'm at with Phantom Menace. Like I haven't watched it as many times as I've watched the rest of the movies. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I agree.
And even today, I'm with you. I'm certainly able to tolerate it from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
But there's parts of this movie that I like intensely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. Which is honestly, it's all the stuff with fucking Maul.
Yeah.
Right. But it's one of those love-hate things because it's like, okay, you introduced this character and then you eliminated this character, and it wasn't until much, much later that we had any kind of further interaction with it. And
yeah.
I feel like when Maul dies, aside from the Obi-Wan and Anakin fighting in episode 3,
mm-hmm.
we are deprived of what lightsaber battles should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That the choreographic fight scenes, or the choreographed fight scenes, especially when it's Obi-Wan versus Maul.
Yeah.
Right? After Qui-Gon drops,
mm-hmm.
and it's Obi-Wan coming out the fucking gate against Maul.
Yeah.
Holy shit, if that's not one of the best fucking lightsaber battles ever.
Yeah, when he fucking hauls ass at Maul and they're just fucking going so fast.
Dude,
and
you can, I get goosebumps. You get fucking just a boom, boom, boom. You like see them going, and Ray Park's doing his fucking thing. Like, and you've seen Ray Park do like that same sequence at cons and
Oh,
other
yeah.
stuff. You know, he gets a
Because he was a stuntman.
yeah. So he still knows those movements.
Mm-hmm.
But you see them do this shit, and you know they were doing it real time. This was like at full speed.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and like fuck me, every sequence with a lightsaber should be this sequence.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not one of those people that it's like, oh god, the Obi-Wan Vader one in the original Star Wars.
I don't dislike
We
that
had
one.
no concept of what we were supposed to be getting
Right.
at this point.
Yeah.
And the next one we see with Luke and Vader was supposed to be a one-sided thing.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't supposed to be Luke matching any kind of fighting with Vader because he had no idea what he was doing.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Vader could have killed him at many
Yeah,
moments
Vader
throughout
was,
that fight.
Vader was playing with him like a fucking cat playing with a mouse.
Yep.
It was, and then you get in Return of the Jedi, you had a good, not as good as what we get in Episode 1, but you had a good sequence with Luke and Vader.
Yeah, where it's evolving into something that big
Right.
because Luke's skills are much better
Right.
now, and
Right.
you know he's fighting Vader like for real, like toe to toe.
Right. And the whole thing with like Vader goes from, most of the time he's fighting Luke with one hand, and then in Return of the Jedi, he has to really fight him. He's got both hands on his lightsaber.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm not. And in the other parts of the prequels, like the fight sequence with Dooku is good, and then the fights with Yoda is fun.
yeah,
But this one, like especially with Obi-Wan and Maul,
mm-hmm.
like if that doesn't fucking get you excited about just Star Wars and lightsabers and everything else, like just show somebody that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this dude's fucking, his master, his teacher just fucking got killed by this guy. Like he's locked behind this thing. It's getting ready to fucking open up, and then
and he's pissed
gonna
too.
explode, and he turned the fucking music up, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. Oh, dude.
Yeah,
So it's some of the best film ever.
yeah, oh yeah,
Like talking about the music, the what's going on the screen and everything else. Sidebar, real quick, talking about the music. I don't think I talked about it last week. Did I talk about the response I had to a post about John Williams?
I don't think so.
So I usually don't respond to, like, when somebody posts something dumb
Like on social media.
on social media. I usually don't respond. I just kind of scroll through. I would just remark to myself, this person's not intelligent. And then I move on with my life.
Yeah,
I couldn't let this one go. It basically, like, this dude was saying how film music wouldn't count as classical music. And I took exception to that. And I wrote a fairly lengthy diatribe about it. And to the point was with John Williams. It's, about being basically he is our composer. He is the composer of our, the 20th century, basically, or the 21st century now. And he's telling the story. And it doesn't matter what story it is, if film or whatever, take the film out of it. Just play that.
yeah, because you can still hear themes, right. And you kind of have a feel for what's supposed to be going on.
Yeah,
and
that's the purpose of it. And then other movies have artists that are just as good. I mean, for me, John Williams is obviously the gold standard of that.
100%.
But the idea that saying that because this came about because of a movie, and that somehow lessens its legacy, that it doesn't have the same staying power as like Brahms or Beethoven or Mozart or something like that is fucking utter nonsense.
Yeah.
And so I put this in there. This was months ago. Somehow that comment still gets likes.
Really?
Every day I get 1 or 2 likes on that comment. It's very weird. Like, first of all, how are people still seeing it? Like,
Yeah.
because that dude he made that comment forever ago.
Mhm.
And I forget even what context he made the comment in. Like, I forget how that showed up on my thing. But yeah, that my little diatribe there still gets likes and responses is pretty funny. But yeah, this film music not being, adequate for.
Yeah, I call horse shit on that.
Yeah, that is such fucking nonsense.
Yeah, you listen to anything from John Williams, even Hans Zimmer has some really good fucking bangers out there.
Yeah, and let's see because I think I had one today. Actually, somebody liked it today.
Really?
Yeah. It's just, that's just weird. Like I said, I'm not used to commenting on shit, so it's like.
You're like Silent Bob. You don't say anything very often, but when you do, it has
apparently
meaning.
Yeah. So what I said was film music. Well, as somebody who believes that John Williams is the greatest composer of our time, and the fact that the films he scored may not last, but the music most certainly will. Concert halls are sold out when John Williams is on the marquee. Not a movie title, just him. Film is how the orchestra will survive. Elitist narratives about film score somehow not being comparable to the classics is how the orchestra will perish.
All right.
And because that was basically the nature of what he had said.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucking. Fucking.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And yeah, like John Williams was just at his best in this movie too.
Yeah.
Like so many good themes.
And
so much good stuff going on.
The reason to see this in the theater again, part of it is John Williams. It's hearing it in the theater. You're hearing how I've said this before and I'll keep saying it. This is how it was meant to be heard. It's meant to be heard in the theater environment.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to get the best sound.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Aside from actually sitting in an orchestra hall and hearing an orchestra play it, which we have done, and it's fucking amazing. Yeah, it is erection inducing every single time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene in particular was just so awesome.
Yeah, no, perfect. I had a few notes here, some things I wanted to go over real quick.
Do it.
First of all, we got the special edition version of Yoda in this.
Thank God.
Yeah, because
that puppet. This is when those cases where the special edition was fucking yes.
Yeah.
You changed something that needed to be changed because that puppet was horrific.
Yeah, and the way they did it was pretty damn seamless.
Yeah.
The way they inserted this new one in there, and
Yep.
because God, that old puppet was fucking weird.
I saw that puppet when it was when they did the touring thing, and I saw it when I was at the Franklin Institute.
Yeah,
and it in person it didn't look as bad.
No,
but
but when it's on that fucking massive screen and you're just like, oh God, did Yoda turn into a crackhead?
It's like they tried to make him look younger somehow. Like, dude, when you're 900 years old, younger and. Yeah, everything is relative, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, younger was like 300 years ago.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you
not
don't
20.
make somebody look younger when they're that old. You're just like there's slightly less ear hair or something. Like this.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I was definitely happy with that.
Hell yeah.
I felt like there was zero connection to pretty much all of the people of Naboo. Like, because I feel like we were supposed to have this connection where, like, you're supporting them in their fight against tyranny and taxation or whatever the fuck. But like when like all their fighter jets go into space and the people are all dying and it's sad music, I'm like, I don't care that this guy dies. Like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't give a shit. Same when they're like in like running through the fucking the palace and everything and people keep dying. I'm just like, okay. Or when they surrounded Padme and they would look like they were going to shoot them all. I'm like, okay. The stakes seemed so low when it came to the people of Naboo.
It was, their entire, we know their entire purpose was to be sacrificed anyway. Like, that's, this Trade Federation, all this other nonsense. Like, okay, all this stuff was staged to get to the next level. So whatever happens here, it doesn't matter because Papa Palpatine's already got the next stage of this plan already in work.
Oh yeah.
So he got you to say the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. He convinced you to say the thing, Toots. So
and she did, and just like that, he became chancellor.
Right. I am the Senate.
And I loved the scene too when after like they did the no confidence vote and they're back in like Padme's suite on Coruscant, and Palpatine rolls in with fucking no name guy who's always at the Queen's side. It's like, oh, Senator Palpatine was one of the nominees, and he's so smug and he just sits back in a chair and he's like, I will be chancellor, and I'm just like, oh man.
Yep. He's like, yeah, I will. I'm gonna kill off everybody else.
Yeah.
That fucking schmuck from Alderaan doesn't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really thought was interesting. Like, it's almost like Organa was the House Minority Leader. You know what I mean? Because he shows up in episodes 2 and 3. He's always kind of with the main party. Yeah. So he's on the platform when all the other shit's happening. Yeah. And watching when the armies are flying off as the Clone Wars have begun. Mm-hmm. And Organa's right there. So he's obviously within the Senate. He's obviously has a higher position.
Yeah, so he's probably like the Democrat who's like the Senate majority leader, but then the Republicans control the presidency and the House, right. So he's still got to stand there with the rest of them just like,
fuck me. God damn it. Can I get a word in edgewise? No? Fuck. All right, whatever.
Yeah. But he still has that seat at the table. He just only gets to watch people do things. Yep.
Yeah, I watched episode 3 the other day. And it's great when Space Jimmy Smits walks up to the fucking they're killing all the younglings.
Oh, the Jedi Temple, yeah.
And he walks up and the troopers are like, no, can't come in here. And he's like, oh, what's going on? And they just like shut him down.
Yeah, they're like, time for you to leave. Yes, they point the gun right at him.
And he's like, and so it is.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. Get back in your vehicle, sir.
Yeah. Move along.
Exactly.
Jake Lloyd. I apologize. Jake Lloyd, if you're listening out there, I apologize for everything negative I ever said about you. Mostly because of his fucking mental state and like all the problems he's had. But, watching it now, I'm like, oh, you know what? Young Anakin really doesn't bother me anymore like he used to. Like he used to come off as very whiny or very I don't know what it was, but I didn't like young Anakin. Now I'm like, yeah, no, he works perfectly fine. Like
the only issue I had with young Anakin was I think he should have been just a little bit older.
Oh yeah. I mean,
for the character portrayal, for the timeline, the sake of the timeline, I think he should have been a little bit older.
Obviously,
the portrayal that he did for those purposes, he delivered the lines. Yeah. Like there was never any issue with like him not appearing to be
believable
in that he was in character.
Yeah. And I think he did a fantastic job. Yeah. Obviously, some of his dialogue was poorly written or directed, but that's more on George. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I agree with the age thing because it's so fucking weird when you think about it now because, Padme was, God, she had to have been like 6 years older than him or something. And she's just like, yeah.
Padme's 16. Well, no, Natalie Portman was 16.
Yeah. And Jake Lloyd was like 8. When they made this, something like that. Yeah,
it's just weird.
She likes him young.
Yeah.
She's like, as soon as that boy hits puberty, I'm hopping right on that train.
Yep. Give me that fucking Padawan little ponytail to fucking grab onto.
Yeah. Bronco Fett said 9 and 14. Natalie Portman was really 14 when she made this. I could have swore she was 16.
That might have been 14 when they casted.
That's true. Yeah, because there was a long time in between, like the casting.
Still 5 years, and it's not even the difference between. I think Natalie Portman, character-wise, she talks about it like when she was elected queen and everything else. Like, so her character is the appropriate age. I just think that the young Anakin character maybe should have been a couple years older.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, because it does make, like, okay, he's too old to start the training.
Yeah.
Right? But then you portray the other Padawans as, like, I don't know. I just think you could have done it differently. Now, saying that, I don't know what child actors, like the selection of child actors that are out there, I don't know who would have fucking been better.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's like, okay, this is the kid who can deliver the lines and be believable.
And kind of looks like a young Mark Hamill almost.
Yeah, kind of looks like a Luke descendant, or, you know, somebody who Luke could descend from.
Yeah.
You know, with a bowl haircut and a fucking, you know, put him in this robe.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think he did just fine for what he was given. And again, massive apologies to Jake Lloyd for anything I ever said about you in the past. I hope you find I hope you find some balance in life.
You find peace.
Yeah.
Speaking of balance, did you do your things?
Oh fuck. Jeez. Thanks. So yeah, there was that. I hated Natalie Portman's fucking ADR, like her audio recording for her voice. Like, even when she's not the fucking queen, when it's just her, Padme, and normal fucking clothes, the fucking dialogue, the ADR that they plug in for her voice is still fucking off, and it's weird. And I don't know what the fuck they were doing with her voice. I almost feel like they plug Keira Knightley's voice in for her sometimes.
Maybe they tried to fuck with it so that they sounded similar.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was something, because they did some weird shit with her voice, and I hated it. I hated the.
Well, she had, like, I know for a lot of the sequences when they're like coming back to the palace and doing the rescue bit or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she still had her Queen Command voice, even though she was Padme.
Yeah.
It was all right. You're doing a handmaiden thing, and I still can't believe the fucking Jedi didn't know that she was not the fucking queen.
They might have. Well, no,
because they even, like, at the reveal with fucking Boss Nass, I said that weird. Even at that reveal, that they, you know, him and Obi-Wan kind of look at each other like, what?
Yeah. Because like Qui-Gon even said, like, I don't want a fucking handmaiden coming with me. Come on, just chew fly.
I'm no more commands from the fucking queen today. Basically, he damn near dropped the F-bomb. Like, no more fucking nothing from the fucking queen today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else that I noticed this time, Obi-Wan was kind of a prick. Like,
well, yeah, and that's the character.
Yeah.
Honestly, look, for what we know about Obi-Wan right now as a Padawan, he was a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And again, like, I was so looking forward to seeing, like, the young Obi-Wan in this movie, where he, you know, he's not this hero that, you know, obviously he came into his own when he fucking, you know, had that battle with Maul, but.
Well, yeah, he was very, as we know the character, he was very by the book as a Padawan, and Qui-Gon was very like, come on, man, let's go with it. he was the dude.
Yeah.
Big Lebowski in it, fucking all the way through. So, that I think they did a good job of creating that conflict between them. Like, there was some obvious where the dialogue was a little bit forced in the very, very beginning with the stuff with the Trade Federation, and like, you know, I feel there's something off, and then Qui-Gon, like, shuts him down real quick, where it seems like, okay, that's very, like, seems like it was one of those things was like, hey, Obi-Wan pretty much first thing told you that this fucking thing with the Trade Federation is going to go badly. He said it right away.
Yeah.
And you dismissed that. So that didn't work out. And then he said, yeah, this fucking kid is going to be a real pain in the ass later. And he was right. So you should have listened to him then.
Well, but see, This is the thing. Like, I'm sure you've seen that Dave Filoni clip where he's talking about, the duel of the fates, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Maul, and how essentially that fight is what determined Anakin's destiny. Because if Qui-Gon had lived, he would have been Anakin's master. He would have been so much better at it than Obi-Wan. Who basically, like, got a fucking, a deployment fucking promotion
Right.
to Jedi Knight, and then immediately, okay, now take this fucking kid who might be the chosen one and go do good stuff.
Right.
Whereas Qui-Gon, he was, very a learned Jedi. He had been around a while. He had his issues with the Council. He kind of saw the Jedi for what they were, and he would have been a much better master for Anakin. And things might have turned out significantly different if he had, taught him. But because of the way things unfolded, it ended up being thrown in Obi-Wan's lap, and he's like, what the fuck?
I think that comes down to the fundamental issue of what was the purpose of the chosen one. What is the purpose of this?
What is bringing balance?
Right. What is this? What do they call it? The divergence in the force.
Yeah, the vergence.
Vergence in the force.
Yeah.
Was it so that Anakin would produce the twins?
Well, we've talked about this before. Like, legitimately, I think Anakin was the chosen one because he did bring balance, because the galaxy was so heavy with the light side. He had to come in and kind of chop that off a little bit and rebalance things.
Right.
Like, to me, that's how he brought balance as the chosen one, by fucking eliminating a large portion of the light side.
Right. Because like we've talked about before, like the Jedi's hubris and just their own blindness to what the fuck was going on, what Palpatine was doing.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously were fucking it up by the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just time. It was just time for a fucking reckoning.
Yep.
And he was the guy.
Yeah.
He was, again, insert Matrix fucking, quotient here. But like in the Matrix, here's the one.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get to a point where we hit the reset button. And all right, now there's a new power base, and it'll build from here.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, whether it was Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan or fucking however it went, if that's what the Force decided to do,
yeah.
But saying that, the Force had nothing to do. Like, the Force didn't make Anakin.
Right. It was, we talked about
Palpatine made.
Well, it was either Palpatine or Plagueis.
Right. Well, and I brought that up. Was that in the text when I was texting you back and forth? Or?
Yeah. Because, we were talking about that opera scene.
Yeah.
Right.
And
because, Palpatine specifically says, Darth Plagueis was so powerful he could influence the midichlorians to create life. He never said that I can do that.
Right.
He said Darth Plagueis was able to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Palpatine, so I know for me, I was like, okay, if Palpatine could do what Plagueis could do, why would we have Project Necromancer? Like, why go through all of that to try? Why do you need Omega? Why do you need like all these
Grogu
and why do you have to go through all this to get to what you need when you can make Anakin, right? If that's what you did, right? You did that, you found Shmi in a fucking I researched what slave depot they were in, but you find her in there, do what you do.
Yeah. Huzzah!
Yeah, exactly.
You're pregnant.
Yeah, I'm rubbing on your belly. And then huzzah! And then now she's fucking with child and takes it to term. If Palpatine could do that and he had done it in the past, why not do it again?
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe he did do it again. Maybe that's how Rey shows up. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But or is this something that Plagueis did, and now when Anakin shows up, this is why, like, okay, Palpatine knows that Anakin is now Anakin has now entered the game, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay, this is how I can work Anakin into this picture.
Yeah.
But I have to sell him that I can do these things, but he really can't.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because he knows that, Anakin's having these visions of losing Padme, so he's using that. But yeah, no, I don't think, based on the conversation that we talked about in the thing, I don't think Palpatine made Anakin. I think it was Plagueis.
Yeah. I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think that's likely.
Yeah.
Now we say this and we have absolutely nothing canonically to support it.
No.
This is just conjecture on our part, but I think there's comic book evidence that supports Palpatine's.
Yeah, there's that one image that we saw of him behind Shmi going like this, and then like the swirls in her belly, but it wasn't, but this was like a vision Vader was having.
Right.
So we don't know if that's exactly how it happened.
Right. So comics technically are canon.
They are.
So there is that. So like, I know Smirking Bear was asking about Palpatine. I mean, that right now is probably the closest thing we have to an answer. But I really want answered why hasn't Palpatine done it again to get to the ultimate answer. So
Sure.
Anyway, I think that's a good question for potentially a deeper dive into something else.
Yeah. And just like that, we're pretty much close to the end.
Yeah.
And we could probably keep going for another hour, but I'll tie up my portion by saying I really, really enjoyed seeing this in theaters again.
Yeah.
The theatrical experience was great. Like I said, I enjoy this movie more and more every time I see it. If we did our top list today, this would be another couple of pegs up on the list.
It is an interesting conversation to see where it would go on my list.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I think it'd be, I don't know when's the last time we did an update to our list.
About a year ago.
Yeah, so I think maybe we wait till some of this other Star Wars stuff comes out.
See if they ever make another fucking movie.
Yeah.
They've been trying forever to make a fucking Star Wars movie. They can't seem to get people to commit, or they keep fucking firing people. So,
which might be better if there's not a good story out there.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, yeah. If the movie's going to be shit, then sure, can it. But for God's sakes, somebody's got to be able to make a good movie and have a good vision.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, the next movie we're going to see is the fucking Mandalorian and Grogu.
Right.
Because they've been talking about this Rey movie, but last I heard, the script wasn't even done. Like Daisy Ridley was doing an interview like a month ago, and she said, "Yeah, I haven't actually seen a script yet." So
yeah, that's not promising.
Yeah,
but who knows? Who knows what could happen?
Yeah, but either way, I really enjoyed this. I wish, oh my God, I wish episode 2 would come out in theaters sooner than later. I know that's asking a lot, but maybe the success that this one had will get Disney to kind of rethink, re-releasing stuff in theaters more often.
Well, we got spoiled with Jedi and Force Awakens kind of having like a back-to-back big anniversary.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling we're gonna have to wait, which sucks. But
now this year they did the marathon for May the 4th. They did it at the King of Prussia theater. That was one of the places where they did it. And maybe if in one of these coming years they do another marathon for a May the 4th, I would seriously consider something like that.
They just need to do it when it's not over the
when the fucking fan expo is right here.
Jesus Christ, everything was happening over the same fucking weekends.
Yeah,
it's annoying, really annoying.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't have anything else for the Phantom Menace though.
All right.
I agree with you. The bottom line is I enjoyed the theater experience.
Yeah.
It was fun. We had, like you said, it was me, you, Kristen was there.
Yep, Bob,
and then we had
Vickers,
cousin Rick, and Helmet Fire.
Yeah.
So we had some Patreon supporters there in the studio, in the theater with us. And yeah, Bob Healy and I did some Mystery Science 3000.
Yeah, I was waiting. There was a point where I'm like, God, are these other people in the theater going to say something to them? But yeah, nobody did.
There were a couple people I heard talking also.
Okay.
Like at one point. So I'm like, all right, they're talking. So I'm not worried about it.
You know, it's funny too, because you know how I feel about people talking during movies when I'm trying to pay attention.
Yeah.
Like even that didn't bother me this time because, you know, Kristen and I were just kind of like cuddling over on our side. We were just enjoying it. I could hear you guys, but it never bothered me. Maybe it's because, you know, this is like the 20th time I've seen the movie.
Yeah. It's you're tracking. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, and we weren't like loud. We were a conversational tone.
Yeah.
And we were still, you know, attempting to not. Okay, maybe it was conversational tone, but we tried not to be that loud.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's the show. Next week, Tales of the Empire. I know we're a little late for this one, but again, we had so much fucking shit happening over the last couple of weeks between the Fan Expo, which next year, by the way, Fan Expo is getting its own episode. Like if we do something like that again, because like 90% of last week's show was the fucking Fan Expo, followed by like a quick 20 minutes of Bad Batch, the Bad Batch finale, no less.
Yeah.
Which, you know, we probably should have put more time into it, but what are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe have a show that was not Seinfeld based and about nothing.
Yeah. Oh, sidebar. Light and Magic. We still have 2 episodes to do in that. Didn't you say they get into Phantom Menace in one of those?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
They might.
I thought you said that they did, so I thought
they probably do.
That could be a good thing to, you know, put a bow on the Phantom Menace, you know, doing those episodes of Light and Magic, you know, in the next month or 2.
I'll take a look at them again.
All right. But that's it, man. You got anything for the reads?
I do. Like I said, no henna for today. So I'm going to do the Micro Machines fast version.
All right.
All right, are we ready?
Oh, I can't wait for this.
All right. Hang on. Let me lubricate.
Ladies.
My penis is so smooth.
All right. ATSW Family Happenings on Wednesday. Big Love and Dragon Body will be discussing the audio drama We're Alive, a story of survival. Snooch is taking a night off to catch ATSW The Escape on Live, 1905, 705 Eastern on YouTube. See, that's just a dynamic that we can't do. I couldn't do the show without you. Like I just
it'd be weird.
It'd just be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know, they've got 3 people. So
that's true. Yeah. So like you can take one piece out and they've still got, you know,
they still got each other.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I couldn't like say you had to, you know, be gone for a month. Right. I couldn't like bring in like Bob or, you know, Swede or somebody to do the show with me because it would be completely different.
Yeah.
Like to fill in for you kind of thing.
335 episodes. Yeah.
And it's been 99% just you and me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The Orange Fetch Show released episode 111, The Jensen Project, last Friday. Catch them on Spotify and Apple. You can find us at bio.link/Sidebar Cantina, where you can find our links to Patreon, YouTube, audio podcasts on Apple, Audible, and Spotify, and social media platforms, including X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Once you get into the bio links, simply click the symbols under our pick to get your platform of choice, and you can also find our past Spotify mixtape playlists. Also in our bio link is a TeePublic merch shop. Choose from 7 designs on everything: t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive ticket pins, wallet, magnets, laptops, cases. Pillows!
There he is. That is.
He's on both sides,
something.
people. Look at it. Look at its magnificence. It's pretty glorious. I'm not gonna lie. This image should be adorning everyone's couches.
Yeah, he should update it though, like to include my beard.
Nah. Nope, it's perfect just the way it is.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, you got to go to TeePublic merch shop and get yourself a Nothing says loving like a naked Jason chick on a pillow, as you witnessed. Go to bio.link/sidebar cantina and click merch. Reviews.
No new reviews. I just checked.
Please write us a 5-star review on Apple or Audible. Don't have an Apple or Audible account on our Facebook page. Review feature 2. Just screenshot the review and hit on it in DMS or pick on Instagram or Twitter with name and address, and a Lunar Girl will send you a super cool ATSW family swag pack. This is your chance to tell us your thoughts on the show. Jason or Jennifer Lopez or Hank or either Mama or Drunk Tom Brokaw or somebody fun. Read your review word for word on next episode. Let us know who you want to read it. Finally, if you catch us on Spotify, help us out and click those stars. If you're listening to us on audio, please consider joining us in the live chat on Mondays. Chat is most definitely where it's at. If you're new to the Sidebar, please subscribe. Ding that bell, select all to receive notification when we go live. Remember to smash that like button. It really helps us out. And share us with your friends.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
That it?
Don't read the N-word.
Oh, it's good. A nice callback to the beginning of the show when you did the sidebar headlines.
Yes, the Lunar Girl setting me up.
One of these days, she just might. She just might throw it in there like mid-sentence.
Look, I'm like reading. I'm trying to read it fast.
Yeah.
And if it's there, I'm not QCing it as I'm reading it. So
yeah,
you could read anything you put on the teleprompter.
Yeah.
So anyway,
all right, so that's it. Yeah, next week we're gonna look at some Tales of the Empire.
Yeah,
and whatever else comes our way.
I've already watched it, and I will enjoy watching it again.
All right, very good. Well, until next time, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you to all of our audio listeners, and Dave and everybody else. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. By the way, these Diet Cokes, all of the important people that were at Fan Expo were drinking Diet Coke.
Oh yeah, we talked about it.
Savage, Gina Carano, whatever. Okay, now what do I click? I click that.
My God, like I'm sitting here thinking, like, fuck, how are we gonna spend a whole episode talking about Phantom Menace again? And
did you really think that?
I did. I really did. And every time, it like goes by so fucking fast. Cause yeah, there's a lot to get to, and where what? Oh, you're looking for the adapter?
Yeah, where's the adapter? Oh, I got it.
I'm like, yeah, I hope that's not lost. That'd be bad.
That's not always lost.
Oh man, I can't.
That's like the 4th Spaceball reference, offline Spaceball reference today.
Yeah.
All right, new device was detected.
I
have to piss like a monkey's racehorse, man. Ugh.
Well, then go do it.
I'm gonna start the transfer first.
You mentioned Galaxy Quest 2. I think we haven't done it for this pod, right? We did it for the old Project VCR. Is that when we did? I know we did Spaceballs for this pod.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat, tell us, have we done Galaxy Quest for?
I don't think we have. No.
I don't think we have either.
So it might be something to re-engage on.
Oh
well,
my God, it's so good.
That came out in '99 also.
Did it really?
It's also 25 years old.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, we have to talk about that this year. And yeah, happy birthday again to Smirking Bear.
Yes.
Saw a lot of your comments during the show. It was pretty funny.
Good way to spend your birthday. Watching our show. All right, transferring. Go. All right, I gotta pee.
And your birthday is one day before George's, so. Alan Rickman. God, I'm sure a lot of people were like this, but when Alan Rickman died, like that was super sad. Like, first of all, it was very unexpected. Because yeah, I don't think anybody knew he had cancer or anything. And like, he was so good in everything he did. Like that one hurt. Of all the celebrity deaths that have happened over the years, that's one that kind of hurt. Speaking of which, do you know which one that I actually remember that probably had the biggest impact on me as a kid was, though I was probably a teenager at this point, was John Candy. Because, I grew up watching all of his movies. Fucking Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck, he was in Home Alone. He did so much shit. Fucking Barf in Spaceballs. And when he died, Like that was like the first big celebrity who I knew, who I enjoyed a lot of their content, that died at a young age. Yeah, it was just weird. But I'll always remember that. I'll always remember when I heard he died. I'm like, fuck, really? And then, well, I felt the same way with Alan Rickman, too. Talking about celebrity deaths, like I was saying how John Candy's like the first one that I really remember, like somebody who I knew a good portion of their work. I was a fan of theirs, and then they just kind of died suddenly. And I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember I saw his last movie, that Canadian Bacon movie, in the theaters.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Horrible movie. Not good. It was not a good movie. Sorry, Smirking Bear. I know you're Canadian, but that is not a good representation of your people. Wally doesn't believe it's been done on this show.
Okay. Yeah, no, I believe it. So and again, it's 25 years this year. Also came out in 99, so we should just do it.
It has to be done.
Sooner than later. Because apparently there's a lot of anniversaries. I guess Anchorman is 20. We've got fucking Galaxy Quest is 25. Something else is 20. Big that came out in 2004. So yeah, we got a lot of anniversaries that we got to get to.
Oh, Wagons. That's right. It was Wagons East. Rick's right.
Well, Canadian Bacon was also one of his last movies. He made those two movies. He filmed them both before he died, but then they were released after he died.
Yeah, I think it might have been Wagons East that we saw, because it was one of those was horrific.
Yeah.
Actually, you know who would know better? Kathy would. Kathy would know better.
Do you have a list of like anniversaries, Kelly? If you do, then yes, please.
Project VCR was meant to do it. Just saying. What does that mean?
Was meant to do. Well, I think we did do it, but I don't know. But it's also no longer out there. Like all those episodes are off the internet now. So we may just have to, do it again this year.
Yes. Do that. Let's do it. Has to be done.
Oh yeah.
Did I say this out loud already? Adam Savage worked on Galaxy Quest.
You did not say that.
Yeah.
Oh man, what did he do? Like models?
Yeah, he worked on. I think he said he worked on the scene where they're coming out of the space dock.
Oh yeah, and he's like flying and
they're like grinding in. So there's like he did the model work of the like where you see the Thermians like in the windows and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did that model work.
Oh nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. Everything comes back to Adam Savage. Leave my man crush alone. Did we look up when Galaxy Quest came out?
No, I think it was actually early in the year, but let's see. Galaxy Quest. 1999 film. Released on... Oh, December 25th, 1999. I was way off. So it was on Christmas. So we've got a while before we actually
got time.
But I think we should do it before Christmas.
Sure.
Like maybe even in like October, November timeframe. Right. But yeah. So yeah, when that came out, like I was a week away from fucking separating from the Air Force, and yeah, I had a lot going on at the time. I didn't see Galaxy Quest until probably like 2005, maybe.
I didn't see it in the theater.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see it in theaters. I saw it on DVD a few years later. Great movie though.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
All right, I'm transferred, so. Double check. Today is the 13th.
Oh, and next time you hear me, I'll be speaking through my brand new microphone.
Hells yeah. Thank you, Patreon supporters.
Yes, you guys are the best.
Make sure we give them a good shout out next. Oh my God.
Did you drop the card?
Yes, I did.
it still blows my mind how much information you can fit on that. So schmo.
My penis is so smooth.
All right. Kelly's asking for pictures. All right. Well, and transfer's done, so we're going to end the stream now. But thank you, everybody who's still with us. We love you guys. You are the best. See you next week.
See ya.